Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, Effie Patriot, Thomas van der Zander, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Sea Level Cultist, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twadwazzle, Jason Hornsby, JMels24, Unimento, Iron26, Endless, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Pep Banter, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. With that, I'll hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show. Come again?
This Toro for Ya guy, now Elder Bear is echoing it in 24/7. Well, Nathan says, and FED says...
Say what?
Well, they forget about all the flat earth measurements. They just want to go to circumferences and, pi equals 2 and on a flat earth. But those are not our claims, are they?
Oh, sorry.
You mean the claims?
You mean the stuff that we shut down, quite specifically shut down yesterday? That stuff? That's claimed to be ours now, is it?
Yep.
All right. So when that guy gets here, I'm going to rip him a new asshole. And that dickhead that kept talking through me yesterday has obviously come to our house to tell us what our rhetoric is so that it can be repeated by other dicks on the internet as though it's ours. No, it's his. That total dick that got shut down with his shite that we shut down, that's not ours. Why is it being discussed like it's ours? Because that's what people come here to do. They come here to misrepresent what we talk about. So now we're talking about pi equals 2. No, we didn't talk about that. We shut an idiot down who did, though, didn't we? Well, that's still us talking about it, isn't it? No, that's just shutting down an idiot who talked about it. And us ascribing the measurements of Earth that are flat to people who utilise them for bull beliefs. Not us, I don't need them for anything. That's what we actually did. That's the game, isn't it?
It's very weird.
That's the game. Misrepresent what FED actually do. Yeah? All right. So we talk about Earth being measured flat in all instances, because it is. Oh, well then, obviously, they're talking about pi equals 2. No, we're not. But that's what the game is, isn't it? Let's make it seem like Flat Earth Debate are talking about something completely different to Flat Earth being measured by everyone, always, without exception, because that's what we actually are talking about. But that's not good enough, is it? Nah, it needs to be changed into something else. Something that Dick came up with to talk about whilst getting shut down by me. So it seems there was a preordained plan that they'd be talking about what Flat Earth Debate talk about when it comes to pi equals 2. Some talking points some other dick who came here to introduce to us was talking about had been preordained to be our rhetoric, it would seem. Yeah, I sniffed him out as a little rat, didn't I, Neil?
Yeah, but we're being held to it like, well, Nathan says it's celestial navigation at 69 degrees per hour, and 10th Man says it also. Elder Bear with his phony voice.
No, those are the celestial navigation utilisable by globe believers when measuring Earth flat. Me, I've never done it. I've had no use for it. But you dicks on the globe side definitely measure Earth flat with elevation angles. Now, if you want to tell me that my rhetoric is 1 degree for every... No. I would suggest that once we appreciate that we've been bullshitted with spheres, we look at it all again. But if you want to just accept the measurements that are currently utilised to believe in a ball, they're flat. That's what I say. Because it's a fact. That needs to be turned into Nathan's 1 degree for every 6... No. It's not Nathan's, you bunch of dicks. It is just Nathan pointing out that that's a flat earth prerequisite, a flat earth measurement. And once it's accepted as what it is, a flat earth measurement, that's when I disband you, I disperse you, tell you to get lost. That's where they start picking up that and running with it as, oh, well, it's got to be a certain designated circumferential value for Earth limitation. No. I haven't made any such claim. In fact, I shut a man down only yesterday making such a claim. What's that? It's my claim now. Yeah, had he been successful before getting shut down by me, it would almost seem like this was my garbage nonsense. Wouldn't it, Neil?
Yeah, I don't get it. We shut it right down and showed them where the flat Earth measurements are. But they want to talk about pi equals 2.
Yeah, they do. But they don't want that to be a rhetoric that is just some nonsense waffle they're talking about. They want it to be poured scorn upon like we're talking about it. These are shills. These are all shills. All of them. They're coming here to change the talking points from flat Earth measurements to if Earth's flat, then whatever pi equals 2. Piss off! Pathetic scum. Meanwhile, Earth's still measured flat, you bunch of dickheads.
Yeah, that's a fact that cannot be disputed. That's why all this other nonsense is coming in.
Yeah, no worries. If they want to come and discuss circumferential values, I'll get them to acknowledge what gets measured. It's on screen now. There'll be something on screen to the effect of an elevation angle being demonstrated for what it is. And upon acquisition of this angle, that's where I bow out. That's where I point out that Earth was always and always will be measured flat. It's nothing to do with me. I take no responsibility for this fact that Earth is measured flat. I take no responsibility for that. None. It is just a fact, though.
Undisputable fact.
What's that? You want to discuss how if it equals a circumferential value of x, it means that pi equals y. That's really interesting. So you understand Earth's measured flat then? You do. Sit down and shut up. That's what the guy got yesterday. We didn't discuss pi equals 2. You got told to sit down and shut up. That's what he actually got.
Yeah, I like the way you handled that. That was perfect. Once you get to the flat Earth measurement, I don't care about anything else. It's flat Earth debate, and there's never been a debate. We're making that clear now.
Yeah, just by chance we were writing that part of the book yesterday, weren't we? How to phrase exactly that. On your knees and acknowledge the flat Earth measurements you require, or relinquish your measurements of Earth. Oh, these aren't Earth measurements. Yeah, the elevation angle's not really Earth. It's conceptual. Okay, well then you haven't got any Earth measurements. Get lost then. You haven't got any measurements. Oh, they are measurements, definitely of Earth. All right, well get on your knees and acknowledge how flat it must be for this angle. Oh, it's not really Earth measurements. Then get lost. You haven't got any measurements. Which one do you want? Do you want to be on your knees acknowledging how flat Earth gets measured? Or do you want to sod off without any measurements? Because those are your only two choices.
Yeah, you got them in a bit of a catch-22, don't you?
And no, I don't care which they pick. It's not like it's a little, as you put it, catch-22, like a little trap. That I don't care. What's that? You don't want to accept Earth's measured flat? I don't care then. You haven't got any Earth measurements, but I don't care. On your way, without any measurements, like I give a toss. What's that? You do accept Earth's measured flat. So you're on your knees in acknowledgement of how Earth is measured flat then. Not that I give a toss that you recognise the fact of the matter. It's just a fact that you obviously didn't understand, you stupid clown. You didn't understand how Earth was measured flat until this point. And now you want to tell me that it isn't. Again, I couldn't give a toss. I understand it's measured flat, and you will require it to be measured flat if you're going to make any measurements of it for your stupid bull belief. So like I say, I couldn't give a toss if you understand, appreciate, or acknowledge that Earth is fact, measured flat. Doesn't make any difference to me. But if you want to start your journey in ball faith, you'll start it with the same flat Earth measurement I tell you Earth will always be measured with, because that's how Earth is measured. It is that simple. Yeah,
I'm
while we're
going
saying
to
that...
work for some.
Oh my God,
Sorry.
Neil. I leave 20 seconds of silence.
Yeah, I'm driving. I was just about to say I'm going to be working for some new guy today. So I'll probably be on mute the rest of the day.
Fair enough. Yeah, the game is obvious. Misrepresent what we say. That's it. That's their only tactic currently. We say Earth's measured flat with elevation angles. They say, where are the guns? We say Earth's measured flat with elevation angles. They say the circumferential value would mean pi equals 2. This is the shit that we deal with in 2025. Hello? Earth's measured flat. And once you acknowledge that, I'm not going to discuss anything. I don't care what you do with that. Well, these idiots are under the misapprehension. They need to convince me otherwise. What are you doing? Coming around to you trying to convince you it's measured flat. It is measured flat.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
You are. You are.
I said Elder Bear using his two voices in 24/7. Hello? Hello? And then switching back to Elder Bear. I'll tell you what, it's a comedy show.
I mean, it sounds like these people are slightly mentally fractured, I've got to be honest.
Oh, there's no question about that. No question about it.
Yeah, disturbed.
Yeah, when he was put under pressure today, he definitely broke out into Ioka.
And for
I
what?
just went in there real quick and I said, listen, the measurements you got, flat, right? I don't care about this 69-degree nonsense. What were those measurements? Turned into Hayuka real quick.
Yeah, that's it. The game is whistle past the flat Earth measurements and talk about what we'll do with them. And you know what? They might be turned into a globe. As long as we can ignore the initial measurements, we'll all be good.
But there is a chapter on celestial navigation, no doubt, in your book, yeah?
Yes, that's what we're going through literally currently.
And you do mention the 60th degrees per minute and how it translates into nautical miles, correct?
Yes, it's going to be polished off though, so we need some citations that we currently don't have that we're hoping that we can get from 10th Man and his £5,000 worth of books that he acquired.
And from those nautical miles, you do extract into statute miles. Is that correct in the chapter?
Maybe. There's some contention
Then you
about this.
better be ready. Then you better be ready to answer the questions. That's been my point the last 3 weeks.
Do you know that these are books from ballers, right? Celestial Navigation, we didn't write them.
But it's in the book. That's my point. Whatever's in the book is going to be contested, and contested pretty hard.
Sure, but
How are they
before it
going to contest that flat Earth measurement? Tell me about that.
Neil, You're completely missing the point, as is everybody else on the panel since I've been saying this for the last God knows however long.
Jado, could it be possible that maybe you're missing a
Listen,
point?
no, I'm not missing the point. Neil, I've been around too long. I've seen so many people come and go over the years, many, many
I've
years.
been around as long as you have
The
been
thing
around,
is this,
Jado.
just
Our
listen,
point is that it's measured
listen.
flat. We don't need anything else. If they
Yeah,
want to talk about
measured
all this
flat,
other
great.
nonsense, they can. Look,
Listen,
I gotta go.
Neil, who's going to buy the book? Who is going to buy the book? What's the audience?
Everyone, anybody.
What's your marketing plan? Your 1/10, like what's your 1/10 of your audience who are primarily going to go out and buy the book?
You want me to say ballers, right?
So the ones that are going to be asking those serious questions about the celestial navigation chapter.
Yeah, it's going to be fine, Jado. Don't worry about it. We'll have a really good chapter on celestial navigation, I promise.
I just want you to be sharp enough to answer the questions. That's all I'm pushing. That's all.
Okay.
Like, for example, we measure the sun to use longitude, correct?
I've just said this is contentious. As we're going through this, Jado, the systems that are in place have been turned into ball systems. Now, based on that, my suggestion would be that we scrap all of it. None of it's trustworthy until we've verified every last measurement. Now, does that alter that to date, the measurements that are used for latitude and longitude are utilising Polaris and the Sun? Will it change what's currently used for a ball? No. Will that measurement of a flat surface to acquire those elevation angles change? No. Are they my measurements? No, they're not. Would I stand by them? No. Are they a flat earth measurement? Absolutely, without question. They're just not my flat earth measurements. They're the flat earth measurements the ballers need. Like Aristophanes, like latitude, longitude, like the current systems that are in place. But given the amount of deception and the limitations to all of these systems that are intentionally altered and rearranged, gerrymandered, if you will, to alter the nature of the ground that we actually stand on. So I can't rightfully stand by any of these systems, even the most basic system, the Polaris system that we were discussing yesterday, whilst writing the book. And albeit through ignorance initially when we're talking about making dip angle corrections. Same principle. Do we? Why do we? Let's look into how it gets calculated back out again after we introduce it. And then say, well, why are we calculating it back out if we've introduced it? And then you look at it and research it and go, the answer is because we want to be more accurate. And it stinks. It just stinks. As we're doing the research for this is one of the reasons the book's taking so long. Because you come to a rock that you think you've polished nicely. And you go, well, what about the underside? Let's have a little look underneath this rock. And what do you know? There's moss and bugs and dirt. And you go, oh, this is all going to have to be sorted out, isn't it? Yeah? Now, could we just left the chapter on celestial navigation exactly as it is? Yeah. Could I be answering questions on systems that I didn't develop that have been utilised for ball claims? Yeah. Should I, according to Jado, know these inside out and back to front? Potentially. But only if I'm going to argue against ballers with it. Against them. Not with them. Not for them. Not for a flat earth either. These aren't my measurements. I mean, they are flat earth measurements. And they are used by our opponents. And I'll lean into that all day long. But they're just not mine. So when you say, do you accept the latitude and longitude measurements? Do you accept 1 degree for every 60 nautical miles? Do you accept the conversion to statute? No, to all of the above. No, I don't accept any of it. But you argue all day long, Nathan, that proves a flat Earth. No, ipso facto, we do measure a flat Earth for these systems. That's a fact. But beyond that fact, where I win the argument, by the way, I don't really have any commitment to any of this shit. None. Like, I don't care. What's that? What if you were lost at sea? The systems that are in place that I'd measure a flat Earth with to utilise will get me home, regardless of how fudged they are. They're not mine. I don't stand by them. We do measure Earth flat with them, and they would get me home. But they also say we're on a ball, and a lot of them are globe projections. The maps, that is. So I don't stand by any of this stuff. I don't know. Why? Who came up with it? Who's actually backed? Put your hand in the air if you've backed away from Polaris and measured the declination towards the horizon. Raise your hand now. None of us are going to say we've done this. Why would I study it? Once I understand that there's a flat Earth being measured for the system to begin, the base measurement, I don't need to learn it. I mean, I have. I sat through 2 years of it with 10th Man. Now, could I do with a refresher? Absolutely. Will I get one? Definitely. We're writing a book, so I'm definitely going to get a refresher while we're writing it. I mean, my motivation's changing as I get poorer by the day, I'll be honest. I really want this book to come out for financial reasons. I'm not going to lie, I've never have. I want it to supplement my income because I need it to supplement my income, right? So I want it to come out. The process cannot drag on. So at this point, it's like, yes, I could dedicate time to polishing up my understandings in celestial navigation terms, but it's not going to win me any arguments, and it's not going to get the book published quicker. Will we have an exceptional celestial navigation section? Will I study it inside out, back to front, after it's been edited? Yeah. I'll know it verbatim by the time the book comes out. I'll be reading it through over and over and over and over and over again so that I can reference third line in page 67 and talk about celestial navigation and quote the book verbatim without even in front of me. That's the level I'd hope to be, having trained as an actor and learnt scripts. Well, the script of the book is the script of Flat Earth debate. That's what's being written. Now, will I be able to recite it? Yeah. And if there's stuff that needs unpacking, will I learn it better? Yeah, of course. It's just not my current motivation. But you're putting me on the spot in a way that makes me have to stand by these systems while I'm in the process of questioning them. Going, okay, it's all well and good that we measure Earth flat for these ball-believing idiots to make a ball with the flat Earth measurements they, not me, measure and need and rely on. John's exasperation in saying, you guys need a flat Earth more than I do, never a true word was spoken. Because they do, because they're the ones that want to suggest that Earth is something. Now me, I don't have to make that assertion at all. Don't need to. I know how it is measured, and that's about all I need. But you're like, well, do you know how celestial navigation works in this particular manner? Now, if you're suggesting that I need to learn it so I don't get caught out, yeah, I agree. There's going to be people that are going to try and pick apart that chapter and pick holes in my knowledge if I'm there to promote the book. If I'm on someone's show, if I'm in front of Joe Rogan and he's got a celestial navigation expert on the panel with him, so he can pull apart Nathan Oakley specifically's expert knowledge on celestial navigation when I'm not a navigator, I'm not a cartographer. The closest I'll get to it is my sister owning a couple of boats. But will they still try and hang me on it? Yes, they will. That's some more, and I take it completely on board, Jardo. What you're saying is, don't leave any cracks. If you're talking about it in the book, know it inside out, back to front. And I completely agree.
Good.
However,
Tell you what,
go on, Neil.
whoever that celestial navigation expert is will be using a flat plane.
Yeah, and people are going to get irritated with me because they, by nature, want it to be expansive, right? All right, so celestial navigators are utilising areas of equal elevation that they derive from flat Earth elevation angles. said nobody ever. They want to talk about the complex lines of positioning, or the process, or the almanac, or whatever. It's like, I don't care about any of this, really. Like, I genuinely don't. I don't spend any of my days navigating. Does it change how it works? No. And if I am on, let's say, Joe Rogan's show talking about it and some navigator's been brought on to make me look stupid, the minute we get to the point that we're measuring Earth flat, I'm like, that's the end. This is where I duck out of the conversation. Earth's flat. We've just measured it flat, and that's the end of this discussion. There's no more. There's no reason to discuss how navigation works at this point. Beyond trying to make me look ignorant, which I'm sure I am. Having never owned a boat, having never purchased a sextant, having not trained in it, I don't care beyond what I actually do as a YouTuber who talks about Earth being flat. Once Earth's measured flat, that's kind of where I win, and that's it. I don't need any more, do I? Don't need to know how we create lines of positioning. I don't need to know how circles of equal elevation work. I don't need to know the maximum extremities of Polaris to form an equatorial value. I don't need any of this. Do I have it? Yeah. Did I want it? Not really. Should I give it to others? I don't know. Are you going out a boat tomorrow?
Listen, once he goes into circles of equal altitude, you go right ahead. You keep proving flat Earth distances further and further and further. Because I remember when 10th Man went over that. That's thousands and thousands of miles, all flat. So let him go ahead.
And again, to speak to Jardo's point, right? Jardo understands Earth's flat, right? Jardo, you're not in the slightest bit concerned that that's not going to be the case tomorrow. What you're concerned is that your representation as a flat earther isn't floundered by me, personally. Right? That's what you want. You want good representation, correct?
Absolutely correct.
Right. Yeah, well, the reason you'll get it is because I'll be here to listen to the criticisms. And I'll act upon them. I'll call you a dick when you give them me, but I will listen. I'm listening
and I'll call
now.
you a dick back. You better listen.
Yeah, I will listen. And that's what I've done for 10 years, right? There's a reason this is a communicative, if that's the right word, a community-based show. That is to say that as much as people want to suggest it's an echo chamber, nobody gets an invite. The door just gets opened. It gets unlocked at the beginning of the bar day, as I use that analogy. And then people come in if they want to, right? And if you want to talk about this, if you want to criticise how I do things, doesn't matter if you're a flurf or a glurf or a concave earther. If you want to critique and criticise the show or me or Neil, you can, right? That's the whole point. Now, if you come in and start talking about pi equaling 2, you're going to get shut down and told to shut up pretty quickly. Let's be honest. Like, that's not tolerated. But that's not a criticism of me, is it? When I shut down idiots, that's not really going to get critiqued quickly. Or if somebody does, it's not going to really get paid that much attention to. My swearing, same thing. To a certain extent, it's kind of benign. Now, I get that it's going to offend people and that there's people who get turned off the show. I get it. Now, again, I've listened. I've been linguistically as polished as I can be, and it's getting better. But by the other extreme, it's like, it isn't necessarily the most important thing. But I get to say that to people who are criticising my language. Because they're here to criticise my language, right? They can say it.
Well, I just don't think with the language, I don't think you need all the swearing because you have a great vocabulary. The way you break down the points and the way you deal with the arguments and the claims.
I like swearing.
Plus, I don't have any headphones anymore.
I like swearing. To me, it's just extra words. And I like them. So, I get it. Other people don't like them. They're considered curse words. My eldest daughter's very against swearing. She doesn't like it one bit. Right? She'll go out of her way to not swear. And she'll apologise if she thinks she's used a word that's swearing. You're like, fine. Some people are like that. I get it. Some people are easily offended when they hear others swear. I get that too. I'm trying to communicate to the widest of audience. So I get that I've got to try and moderate it. It doesn't change the fact that I dislike that fact about the world. Yeah, people swear. That's the world we live in. I swear. That's me. I swear. So it's like, oh, well, you've got to moderate that because you want to appeal to more people. Fine. Needs must.
At the end of the day, people are people. You're right. Some people swear. Some people get offended by people that swear. Some people don't swear and don't get offended by the people that swear. It's just words, but you want to be represented correctly. And with the book coming out, there's going to be people seeking you out.
Yes. So on the one hand, I've got to book my ideas up in those ways of seeing things. But on the other hand, I'm going to be me, right? I'm just going to do me while we're out and we're promoting the book. I've still got to just do me. But no, I would hope to do a decent job. And when proactively contacting people to have you on their show to promote a book or promote anything for that matter, not going to be necessarily the same as the anti-flat earth, call it, attitude that we generally get. I wouldn't have imagined it would be like that in general terms with general normies. That's a very small slice of society is what I'm saying. The disdain that we get from our anti-flat earth counterparts.
Good
Hello.
morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, equals 2.
Hello, good to have you all. So there's a slight expectation that's being put upon me in terms of the information that I may or may not know. Not because of my ignorance or exemplary understanding of the subject of flat earth, or in the case of the pre-show, celestial navigation specifically. It's more that when the book comes out, there is going to be a certain expectation upon me to do a good job of representing people. Now, given my highly critical nature of someone like David Weiss when he's out on the road with his fairly standard fare 5-year-old rhetoric that's been highly superseded by us, it will be the case that obviously I'll want to do as good a job as would be hoped for by my panel members at the bare minimum, Jardo included. He was the one suggesting that I should learn various aspects that potentially are beyond me. I'm not saying they are or they aren't, it's just if there is something that is beyond my expertise, the general consensus is that it would be better served for everybody, for them as their representative, that's me, to know everything, right? Just so you don't get caught out. Well, obviously that's not possible. And when you're out and about and there's people who are intentionally trying to catch you up and trip you up and catch you out, if I could get the two separated, that will be the case. And if it does happen that someone catches me out, so what? I've got a thick enough skin to deal with it, emotionally, mentally, all those things. Now, will my, let's call them fans, be able to cope if I do a bad job on a given day? I'm going to say yes, because that will be short-lived. Even if there's some prick intentionally trying to make me look bad while they're having me on their show to promote a book that will be published shortly, then so be it. That's how life is sometimes. And I'm not going to let it put me off going out on the promotion train of promoting Welcome to Flat Earth, the book, because that's just going to happen regardless. Now, I'd hope if it does go terribly wrong for a few minutes, these things never last very long, on a given interview, that people who are, fans of the show, let's just say, would be reasonably forgiving. That's to say they're not just going to immediately disown me. Now, in the case of my disdain towards someone like Dave Weiss, it's not just me going from Dave Weiss, what a great guy, we think he's the boss, to Dave Weiss, what a prick overnight because he hasn't said the right thing once on an interview. We're talking about consistent ignorance of actual developed argumentation that we've put out there. Approach Dave, me personally, proactively in terms of science and the scientific method, only to be cast down and shot down, and that's not really what you want when you're trying to offer somebody the means to be a good representative and they're just throwing it back in your face. So, as I say, in the pre-show, that's what I was being asked by one of my own, and I encourage anybody to do the same. So, understand this. There's going to be a period where I'm out on the circuit promoting the book. So once it's done, that'll be me on the phone, metaphorically speaking, trying to get contacts to have me on their show to do a good job of representing this book. Like I say, I hope people who are watching now and know that that's coming are, number one, nervous. You should be. And number two, appreciate that this is a turning point after 10 years. Something significant's occurring. Now, we had the Spanish translator sat in on the editing process yesterday. Tedious that it is. I think you'll agree, Neil, it is probably the most tedious part of this book writing process. Would you not agree? He's doing something. He said earlier that he would be potentially undisturbable. Craig's there and he's probably dealing with customers. Anybody who sat in on the most recent process of book editing, the fourth draft, right, it would attest to how boring it is. It's tedious, it's long-winded, it's arduous, and it's rephrasing things 3 times to get them to sound just right. When they're already committed to page, it's just they don't sound perfect. And you're kind of arguing against the mentality that it's a reference book and therefore not necessarily accessible to everybody. If you have a sub 80 IQ, yeah, you're going to struggle to read this book, I'm going to be honest. And if you've got 100 IQ, you might read it twice and then get it. And that's what I would hope for your average Joe normie, right? 100's average IQ, isn't it? That is still the case. That's why I'm using the number anyway. I don't care if it's not. My point is still the same. For your average Joe, my expectation is that they're going to need to read the book twice. And for somebody who's even a little bit smarter, they're going to be rereading certain chapters several times to fully comprehend the chapter. Go ahead, whoever that was. Off mute. 5150. Want to add something?
What's up?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Did you want to add something?
Did I want to answer you? I don't think I heard you. What did you say?
I said, did you want to add something just because you're off mute and your line's flashing on and off, which makes me assume you want to say something.
Oh, sorry about that. No, but since you pointed me out, I would just mention that, for, at least from my perspective, well, a good book doesn't need a representative. It represents itself.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. The book will speak for itself once it's out there. I would hope to a certain degree word of mouth will carry that book. And it will. I'm in no doubt of that, but I'm poor. So I'll be out of the gravy train trying to promote the thing and push sales because I want it to make money. You know, as much as it's a fantastic book. And up until now, and I mean that in the most literal sense, I've said to the people helping me, take your time. Right? I want you to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. I want you to be as happy with this book as though it was your own. In other words, I want everybody to dedicate, and for the most part, anybody that's put their eye over it has done exactly that. They've treated it like it's their own, they've given it the consideration that it needs. But that takes time, a lot of it, to get it to the level of polish that it will, need to be. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I've mitigated for the extra time that it took beyond what I first thought it would need. And need is the right word. I need it to supplement my income. I'm struggling. I won't lie. I've been reasonably consistent in e-begging when these sort of times have come my way in the past. This time I've mitigated for it of my own detriment, to my own probably mental discomfort and lack of sleep by flogging a product just to keep me supplemented. But, I don't want to e-beg. I certainly don't want to sell microphones anymore. I'm sick of it. I knew that would be the case pretty quickly. What I do want to sell is books about the last 10 years of finding out how Earth gets measured flat. And that's something I can definitely get behind and passionately promote without it necessarily exhausting me. So microphones, if you look at the amount of work I've done, you go, you haven't even done that much work, relatively speaking, to somebody who's built a business. You go, no, I haven't. I've built it up just to knock it back down again to keep me going for a few months. And it's almost killed me. It's really hard work, more than I want to commit to something like this. Well, when you do flat earthing videos on YouTube, for me, because it's my passion, it's what I love doing, it never seems like work. You know, I can't remember a time before now, when writing the book, where I'm exhausted because of making flat earth YouTube videos. On the contrary. Even now, I'll say, like, doing the shows are almost like having a bit of a rest. So, you know, I want to get back up on the flat earth book promoting train rather than on the winding down a mic selling temporary business train that's just kept me supplemented. But just to speak to the gentleman's point, book, yeah, it will absolutely sell itself. I wouldn't need, or I don't necessarily need to do anything once it's published. It will immediately have a little burst of sales, and then it'll have word of mouth sales, and then it'll sell for the next 200 years if I did absolutely nothing. So I don't need to do anything. I just want to. Yeah.
So this is new to me about the book. I know a little bit about you and not really familiar with you, but so my question would be, is there anything new about flat earth in the book? I mean, because it seems to be all the same regurgitated stuff every time I check it out.
Check what out?
The flat earth theory.
Okay. Well, tell me what you know.
Well, I know there's no declination over distance. I mean, there's a lot of things that flat earthers say that are pretty common sense, logical, to me. But that's still, nobody can prove either way to me either. The globe, I mean, a lot of it adds up, but a lot of it don't. I mean, it's tit for tat on both sides. Nobody has any proof either way.
Oh,
So that's why I ask, is there any proof?
I do, and so do you.
New?
So you just said distance, though, didn't you? Distance, right? Distance is linear. Measurements of Earth, when you describe miles, kilometres, that's all linear and flat. You understand that, right?
Right.
Right, so Earth's measured flat with miles or kilometres. So if you want to describe anything with respect to the surface of Earth ever, it will be measured flat with miles. So you say no one's got any proof it's tit for tat. On the contrary, if anybody describes any measurement of the surface of Earth ever, it will be described and measured flat. So when you say no one's got any evidence, no, I've got miles. Miles and miles and miles of evidence, and it's all flat and linear. So when you say no one's got any evidence, were you unappreciative that miles are flat and linear and measure Earth? Were you unaware of this?
Okay, I'll give you that, but let me just...
That's not what I asked.
Give you why.
Did you hear my question? Did you hear my question? I didn't ask you to give me anything, did I, sir? Did I ask you to give me something? I'll ask again. So you were unaware that Earth is unequivocally measured flat when you said it's tit for tat, nobody can prove it could be a ball? You're just ignorant and wrong, sir. Wrong. So you were you don't need to talk through me. You're getting told off. You understand told off?
No, you're making yourself look like a
Sit down, shut
idiot,
up.
you don't understand.
Sit down, shut your mouth. You are unaware, sir, that Earth is measured flat with miles. That's clear to me now. Very clear. You were ignorant. You're still talking through me, sir. You're still talking through me.
You only measured part of it.
Shut up, you stupid man. Sit down, shut your dumb mouth while I tell you off for being ignorant of the flat Earth that's measured in linear miles. You're still opening your mouth, 5150, you ignorant tosser. Shut your dumb mouth, ignorant tosser. Mute your dumbass line. Idiot. Mute yourself.
Flat earthers don't know.
Right, I'm going to mute this asshole because he's obviously lost control of his senses. He's getting told off and can't cope with it. So now I have to stick him on mute because he can't control himself. Dickhead! You're getting told off for being ignorant and you can't shut your hooter. Now I've had to put you on server mute because you can't cope. When I talk, you don't, dick. Oh, you're going to run like a belligerent coward who can't cope with getting told off? Your only tactic is to talk through me, you bunch of muppets. Yeah? Tit for tat, no one can prove either way. Yes, I can! And what can you do when you get corrected? That would be this dick, the one that just ran because he couldn't shut his mouth and I had to shut him up. Yeah? You will get told off by me if you tell me there's nothing new in Flat Earth. Have you got any proof? It's just tit for tat. Nobody's proving anything. Then I prove it with Miles, and you can't shut your stupid mouth. Can you? Idiot! Now run away like an ignorant buffoon, because you got told how stupid you were by me. Yeah? Is there anything new? Took about 5 seconds of talking to me to find out something that was new. Yeah, it's not very new. Miles aren't new. You're just stupid. Unaware of Miles? Oh, I'll give you that, will you? What, a minute ago there was nothing new, and then 5 seconds later you're giving me something? No, what you're giving me is a freaking headache, talking through me while I tell you off for being thick. Is that clear? Yeah? You can tell me how, I don't really know you very well, but I do know that there's nothing new in Flat Earth. Except Miles. Oh yeah, how unbelievably new Miles are for you to, quote, give me that. You don't need to give me anything. I don't need anything from morons. What you will do is take it from me. The Earth is measured flat with miles. You'll take that from me when I give it you. Yeah? That is to say, by give, I mean slap you around the face with it like a complete idiot that you are. You got slapped around the face with the flat Earth linear measurement with miles. I didn't get anything from you, and you weren't giving me anything except a headache. Dick.
I mean, we could just get the Earth curve calculator out and show the guy that, and say, well, this is pretty new to you probably. That in the Earth curve calculator, it's using surface level and eye level parallel to each other to say that we live on a curved ball when we're actually measuring angles from surface level. That'd be pretty new for him, I think.
Everything we'd offer him would have been new. But he's arrogant. Oh, there's nothing new. I've already researched it all. Really? About miles? You researched it? I'll give you that. No, you won't. You'll fuck off. Shout out to Kelrix. There's no swearing. Earth is flat. Thank you for the super chat.
So he didn't get the neutral outcome he was searching for? What a shame.
You going to control yourself this time, 50-50?
If you quit trying to make me look like an idiot that I'm not and listen to my questions, I will. But
Yo, hillbilly, you're a retard. You didn't realize miles were linear and flat, and you thought there was a chance it'd be a ball. I'll talk to you like you're stupid.
okay, so I didn't think.
Yeah, that's okay. That's right. I'll do what I damn well please. And when I'm faced with an ignorant moron, I'll point out how ignorant he was. You felt the need to tell me that there was no new arguments. And then 5 seconds later, you found out how wrong you were, didn't you?
There is no new arguments, bro.
So, miles, you were unaware that miles are linear and flat and they ain't ball-shaped, because it seems like you were unaware and you, quote, gave me that. It seemed like you gave me that. Was I wrong when I heard you say you'll give me that in a high-pitched tone? Was I hearing things?
You never, ever, ever. You
Ever what? Measure Earth linear with miles? Yeah, I do. I definitely do. I mean, I've got a taco.
Bro, you just talk over me and then accuse me of...
So talking over me and acknowledging that Earth's measured flat with miles and you thought there was nothing new.
Do you know anything?
Do you ask me a question when you were asked to acknowledge that Earth's measured flat with miles and you were unaware of it and said there was nothing new? Do you want to ask me something? Do you want to ask me something? Because do you is you asking me something 50-50 and it's not going to happen. You're not going to take charge of this conversation. You're a dumbass. You understand that? You're not in charge of this conversation, I am.
Fucking rude.
So you're going to swear at me, you fucking retard hillbilly? No, you fucking retard hillbilly. Measure miles, they're flat. You were on the fence. You thought there was nothing new and it was just tit for tat. You were wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you are, because Earth's measured flat unequivocally with miles. What was that quote? I'll give you that. Yeah, you're damn right you'll give it me, hillbilly. It's a fact. It ain't you. You're just ignorant and stupid.
What is known of the Earth?
So why are you asking me something? Miles are flat. Earth is flat. We measure it flat with miles.
You say it's 70% water, but who told you?
So I didn't say 70% water, I said miles. Now you seem to be lying about things I haven't said to you. The words 70% water, end quote, didn't cross my lips. This hillbilly's a liar. You're a liar.
In this conversation.
Sorry, I didn't have this conversation about 70% water. You just made it up. You're a liar.
You're a hard dude to talk to.
No, you're a retard, and you're thick, and you're a liar, and you just made up words that I hadn't said.
In this conversation, you didn't say it.
Well, I didn't say it in this... Yes, right. I did not say it in this conversation. You will not quote me because I didn't say those words. You are a lying shitbag hillbilly who made up shit I didn't say when you suggested that I'd suggested earth and 70% water were words that crossed my lips when they hadn't. Making you a lying shitbag. Meanwhile, hillbilly, earth is measured flat with miles.
Okay, I agree with that. What you know of it.
So that's the end of the discussion then. So where you thought it was just tit for tat, you were very much mistaken. Earth's actually measured flat.
No, I'm not mistaken. I understand that the earth is measured flat, bro. I get that. I mean, I fly planes and have you even taught that?
Shut up! Don't call me bro! Don't be so bleeding insubordinate, you stupid hillbilly. I'm not your bro.
Okay, then, bitch.
So call me sir. Yeah, that's what you'll call me, hillbilly. I'll call you thick. I'll call you hillbilly. You will not call me bro. You will address me as sir.
Yes, sir, bro.
Get out of my show, you insubordinate tosser. Prick.
He knows the Earth's measured flat, and he's on the fence. What
It's
fence
just
is he
tit for
on?
tat. Tit for tat, it is not. What it is a game of how can I use flat Earth measurements to suggest we measure a ball? That's the game. Alternative games include how can we discredit the man that points out Earth is measured flat by suggesting he utilises the flat Earth measurements to suggest that pi equals 2. Things of that nature are the games that we can play when we're not actually playing anymore. We've already figured out that Earth was always measured flat and there is no other way of measuring it. If you want to believe you're on a ball, you'll start by measuring Earth flat. And if you want to think that there's just a tit for tat, nothing new, and no one can prove it anyway, end quote, hillbilly idiot. Yeah, that's what he said. Nobody can prove it either way. That's a quote. Not like the 70% water, oh, you didn't say it in this conversation. That would be what words you made up I didn't say because you're a shithead. Lying bastard. Yeah, that's what I have to deal with on a daily basis. People coming here and saying, well, you say the 70%... What? I didn't say anything of the sort. You lying piece of shit. Burn in hell. I didn't say that. Yeah? But what? Oh, you didn't say it in this conversation. Sorry, you've never met me before. This is the first time we have ever interacted. Yet you're going to tell me what we've had in previous conversations. Do you reminisce with strangers? You complete idiot. But no, this dickhead feels like he knows me, doesn't he? Feels like he can talk through me when acknowledgement after a statement that there's no way of proving it either way, it's just tit for tat, there's going to be nothing new in your book. Oh, really? My book that hasn't been published yet, that you know there's nothing new in? My God, it's not even out yet! It couldn't be more new! My God! But yeah, idiot hillbilly's decided that the conversation's going nowhere, and you can't prove it either way, until he recognises the very old and ancient miles that aren't new, just thick. Just didn't know how miles worked. Yeah, and anybody else watching who's a bull-believing clown. You don't know how miles work? That's what you'll get from me. And then you'll get what that hillbilly got. You'll get talked down to like you're a retard. That's right. What's that? You didn't know miles were linear and that's how we measure Earth always? What kind of a thicko are you? Oh, you don't like being talked down to. Like you're some sort of mentally handicapped idiot. Oh, really? Oh, really? What's that? You flat earthers are stupid? stupid dumb flat earthers, until you forget how miles work, and then who's the retard here? It ain't me, is it? Yeah, miles are linear, and that's how we measure Earth. Yeah, they're not curving. We do definitely measure Earth. It is definitely flat, and that is the only way to measure Earth, but you thought it was ball-shaped. Sounds like you've got mental problems. Have you been evaluated recently? What, you don't like me talking to you like you've got mental issues? Because you don't know how a mile works? Oh, right. But yeah, it was okay to call flat earthers retards and tell them to jump off buildings to prove gravity. That was okay, was it? No, it turns out you, bunch of spastic globe believers, were the ones who didn't know how a frickin' mile worked. Yeah? That's the reality here. Yet you are the ignorant ones telling the world how stupid flat earthers are.
I'm only gonna say this because it amuses me. I mean, it would be interesting to listen to the guy, seeing as he's tit for tat and he's 50-50, what, you know, is in his opinion.
Yeah, you are.
Sorry, you're hot micing, Peaceful Warrior. Okay, carry on, One Deck.
I was saying it does amuse me when you let these people have a little chance to describe how, in their opinion, what is the strongest point that they feel is evidence for a flat Earth, and what is the strongest piece of evidence, in their opinion, for a globe Earth being measured. It always amuses me if I just listen to them for a little bit and see how they stumble. But I don't know if you want to go down that road.
I'm getting told off in the super chat for swearing. I'm so sorry, Jardo. This is why my wife won't let me listen to a whole show. Lol. I'm sorry. Scared, One Deck. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the super chat, though, Jardo.
I think One Deck was appealing to let him give his best globe Earth evidence.
He's not around. It seems on the last couple of shows there's been a concerted effort to present all Earth claims that utilise flat Earth measurements so that we are engaged in discussions after the fact with the flat Earth measurements. So yesterday it was pi being 2. Now that got shut down immediately. And then what do you know? It's being discussed in other corners of the internet how flat Earth debate talk about that subject that we shut down. How interesting that that would already be on the table as a talking point that we are talking about when it was only introduced to us yesterday. How interesting that even when we're shutting it down, it's still being misrepresented as our talking points. How interesting. Yeah, it does make you want to swear. Gotta be honest.
We're saying that pi equals 2?
Yes. When that guy came in yesterday and got told off for doing that, for spouting that garbage, and he got shut down, right? We told him off, right? No, what actually happened was that became our talking point. That's what we're talking about, John.
No way.
Yep.
Like we made explicitly clear to him that pi does not equal 2. That's not an argument. You're putting you're creating an if statement that's going to give you a faulty conclusion. And I'm pretty sure we shut that down.
Yeah, we completely eradicated every single aspect of it. It's not a logical consistency when you're making a statement of fact about a measurement and inserting it into a logical consistency, so we can debate you about whether or not pi equals 2 based on the extrapolation after the flat Earth measurement that you're not acknowledging isn't going to get us saying that your discussion point, yours, not ours, about pi being 2, that's just going to get shut down, like, quickly. And it did. But like I say, it's obviously preordained that was going to become our talking points. Yeah? That's the game, innit? What do we talk about over here? Is that what we talk about here? No. We talk about Earth being measured flat. Is that what's being repeated in the circles ancillary to us? No. Of course not.
So was that, now we got to ask ourselves, is that intentional? Was
Yes.
that introduced so that they could attack that?
Yes. It's being introduced intentionally to attack once we take a position either way. So, like today, as soon as that got shut down, suddenly my stream starts misbehaving. Whirly worlds start going around. Now, call me a conspiratard, but I'm just stating a fact. We're entering into a discussion with a person that's seemingly on our side, claiming to be a flat earther, wants to talk about pi equals 2, after whistling past the flat earth measurement and talking about the calculation that follows, and how that's our value. At which point I went, no, I'm not going to accept any of this as mine. And why would I take a logical inference route from a statement of fact? I don't need to. Whirly world starts, stream starts misbehaving. He starts talking over me.
I mean, that's correct. I mean, I said to Neil before, I've spoken to these people. I've used in a celestial navigation talk, 60 nautical miles per degree. Them words have come out of my mouth. But, that's just because that's what we're told. What's happening is we're still measuring elevation angle. Like you say, whoever's calculated anything thereafter, it's a calculation. Initial measurement is an elevation angle from sea level.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah, you can deny it. In which case, the base principle that you, not me, measure Earth to create this system on screen, if you want to deny a flat Earth elevation angle measurement, you can. Then you haven't got any measurements. So get lost. You haven't got any measurements. What you do want to utilise and accept that we are measuring Earth with elevation angles. Then you get on your knees, accept that you're measuring Earth flat. You, not me, are measuring Earth flat for your system that starts with a flat Earth measurement. Now, if you don't want to use your flat Earth measurement for your system that you need, I don't care. Now, by the same token, if you do want to utilise the flat Earth measurement that's a prerequisite for all Earth measurements, then beyond me laughing at you and demanding that you get on your knees, I mean, I don't really care if you get on your knees or not. I mean, it's just a fact. It's a joke that you'll have to acknowledge the flat Earth that you will be measuring. But miles will always be linear. It's like that guy, nothing's going on in the conversation. Is it not? Yeah, that's right, because miles will always be flat. For everyone, always. So if we're going to talk about the distance to the geometric horizon called Earth curve, and then we'll need a flat Earth to do it. What's that? There's nothing new going on. Well, was it unexpected that I would take every word that you utilised to suggest there was a debate going on, like distance, and immediately proved that only a flat Earth can exist for us to ever discuss distance, ever? Does that seem new? Because I'm pretty sure that utilisation of the always flat measurements is new, because up until now we're led to believe that being a flat earther involves telling people how wrong Earth curve is. That's not what being a flat earther is. For me, being a flat earther is not giving two tosses about the idiots who utilise flat Earth measurements to believe they're on a ball. That's just some old cult I used to be a part of. Now I'm acutely aware of it, and what do you know? I've got current cult members chasing me down to tell me I'm a child abuser, to tell me that I should jump off buildings, to tell me that I shouldn't procreate. Yeah, that's what I've got. Heliocentric cult members telling me they want me dead. That's what I've got. Well, I don't care. I don't care that you need a flat Earth to believe in your ball. You can believe in it after you get off your knees in acknowledgement of the Earth that you measured flat to achieve that belief in a ball. But it's not my belief anymore, and you don't need to go to the ends of the Earth, aka Antarctica, to scream my frickin' name into the snow, because you obviously want to convert me back to your stupid ball belief. Yeah, you don't need to go nuts when I point out that you're not going to convert me back to the ball. Yeah, this is my superfan tune I'm talking to. You're not going to convert me back to the ball tune with flat Earth measurements in Antarctica. If that's what you want, superfan, you're not going to do it. Get me ball measurements if that's what you want. But I've already studied this more than you, obviously, or I wouldn't be pointing out that you're measuring Earth flat in Antarctica to the point where you want to scream my name about guns. No, these people are chasing us. They want me to believe that I'm on a ball, because it offends them that I don't. All right, I'll stop believing in it. Just stop measuring Earth flat then. Yeah, you want me to believe in a ball? No worries. Second you stop measuring Earth flat, I'll believe in a ball with you, okay? Believe being the operative word. I mean, obviously, we'd have to disavow all measurements that we could believe in a ball with, because all measurements of Earth that are creating that ball, well, they're all flat too. I mean, that kind of nonsense will lead you to scream my name into the snow. But I ain't screaming your name into the snow. I don't care that you need a flat Earth to believe in a ball. I don't care. But stop trying to convert me back to your stupid cult, right? I've left. Begone, cult members of the globe. I don't care for you anymore. Don't need to come back to your religion. And trying to convert me back to the ball with flat Earth angle measurements of the sun is utterly absurd. Yeah? Now, fine, you can have them. Keep your flat Earth angle measurements to the sun for 24 hours. Keep them, you can have them. They're on me. My pleasure. You can have those flat Earth measurements. They're on me. Yeah? Good. Now, sod off with your flat Earth angle measurements for a 24-hour period to the sun that you can tell us we've got a ball beneath our feet with. You get on with your day. Just stop trying to convert me back. Now, I know we're not on a ball, right? The jig's up for me. Anyone else here want to go back to the cult? Anybody else really desperate to be converted back by frickin' MC Toon or Simon Dan? Is anybody here in desperate need to be converted back?
Nope.
So who are these people appealing to? Exactly. I mean, maybe Dave McKeegan can answer me this question. It's a sincere question, right? These people are in our community, soaking up our views through the algorithmic love that's redirected towards them. So I'd like to know, who exactly are you appealing to? If you truly believe you're correct, then the people that you're appealing to already think the same as you do. So unless you're insane, you're not appealing to them. They're already on your side. You already have the consensus agreeing with you that they, as you, believe Earth's a ball. Believe all you like. Me, knowing Earth's measured flat, I can't believe it's a ball. So therefore, I can only assume that Dave McKeegan is actually appealing to me. Like, you're appealing to the general masses. They already think they're on a ball. So who's left? Are you banging your head against the wall telling people who already know they're breathing that they're breathing? Because if they already think they're on a ball, why do you need to appeal to them? You don't. So that's leaving one group and one group only, us. The fact they get financially incentivized algorithmically, in other words, they do quite nicely out of their videos, as anyone with a cursory and vague interest in the subject of flat Earth immediately gets directed towards Dave McKeegan, Simon Dan, Professor Dave. That's what happens. So they'll do all right financially out of it, but literally, in their mind, who are they appealing to? Now, if it's not the consensus who are already on their side, it's me. Me as the archetype. And you ain't going to do it with flat Earth measurements, lads. McKeegan, you were in Antarctica too. Did you think you'd appeal to me with flat Earth angle measurements of the sun for 24 hours? If that's what your game was, or unless you're insane and just knocking your head against the wall telling people who already know they're breathing that they've got a set of lungs. Go ahead.
He may be appealing to himself. He may be appealing to himself, because the more he tells himself that, you know, horizontal is curved and level's not level, and he does live on a globe, the more he drums that into himself, then his globe stays alive. So he might be just appealing to himself because deep down in his heart, he can see them elevation angles. He knows what sea level is. Yeah. He knows all this deep down, but he doesn't want to give the ball up. So he has to keep repeating himself of this nonsense that the Earth is a globe and level isn't level, horizontal isn't horizontal, and it is a ball flying through a vacuum of space. So I think that's where we're up to with these ballers now.
It's just them talking to themselves.
Going insane and losing the marbles.
Them talking to themselves then.
Yeah, basically.
What do you think McToon is going to say, though, if you tell him that you measured the Earth's flat in Antarctica? What do you think he's going to say?
Oh, I know. He told me personally on the phone with me. He phoned me up proactively to tell me. Do you want me to reconstruct it? Where are the guns, Nathan?
Yeah.
You lied! There you go. That's what he said. I say you measure Earth flat, Toon. I said it about half a dozen times minimum while he was measuring it, actually on the ice, allegedly. I mean, he might have been in a tent of televisions for all I know.
Yeah, what's his comeback? Is he saying he's not?
I don't care. They measured Earth flat. If they measured Earth flat with a tent of televisions, then they measured Earth flat with a tent of televisions. If they were actually where they alleged to be in Antarctica, then they measured Earth flat with the sun. Now, given the amount of fakery around that particular region, I don't really care either way. I'm not going to put my neck out and say that it is fake or it isn't. What I do know, without doubt, is that they measured Earth flat with elevation angles. Go ahead, plain decoded. Plain decoded, did you want to add something?
Sorry.
One more time? I think it's just hot micing. Yeah, I mean, I don't care. That's the point. I'm not phoning them up from Antarctica to say, guys, you know it's measured flat, right? I've got a flat Earth show and I'll react to them going to Antarctica. Now, reactively, they've measured Earth flat and I can point that out. Proactively, they want to tell me that they've got to Antarctica and there aren't actually any guns after all. Like, really? Why would you suggest this to me? Oh, well, because 8 years ago I left a comment on a video about Antarctica saying that you'd get turned away at gunpoint, like the guy was about a week ago by the Chilean government. He was escorted away at gunpoint for being on Antarctica without any forms being filled in. So, yeah, there were no guns for the guys who went there to measure Earth flat. And it seemed pertinent to McToon, my stalker, to contact me for the 100th time proactively to tell me that there aren't any guns as per my 8-year-old comment. Obviously, he talked through and rambled through and rumpused the 89th, 99th and 100th rendition of he is specifically measuring Earth flat with angles with respect to surface level. He didn't want to hear that. He wanted to address the 8-year-old comment that he definitely overturned by filling out all the forms and going and measuring Earth flat there. So that's good. It's not like I feel like I'm utterly strawmanned with guns or anything. I mean, it's a perfectly reasonable endeavour to take an 8-year-old comment on a rando's video, ignore the sun tracking playlist, and ignore the 100 renditions of the man who you are strawmanning telling you personally that you've measured Earth flat. Those things are perfectly acceptable to ignore in the mind's eye of these idiots who chase us proactively. I mean, what is TFE if not a literal proactive attempt to undermine what we do here? What else is it? They're attempting to prove antipodal positioning. I mean, they didn't. They measured Earth flat. They travelled there flat. They confirmed with everything that they did that Earth was indeed, and always will be, measured flat. But their attempt was to beg the question of antipodal positioning. Why? Well, because of us. It's not because of Jaron. Jaron built up a reputation as a shill to lead the opposition back on the ball. It wasn't because of Robbie Davidson, another shill, only here to lead people back onto the ball. Not because of Patricia Steer, a shill, here to lead people back onto the ball. But because of us, and a few others that straggle around us. The ones that truly know Earth is measured flat, for all who measure it.
Is that hot chick that went to the Antarctica with these guys?
Hot chick? My wife was not there.
Is that the chick that went down with Jaron and Witsit?
The only hot chick I know, my wife was definitely not there.
You know, Witsit did say when he was down there, you couldn't really freely travel, as people want to claim. But you said they weren't pointing a gun at your head. They were selling it in a way to say, well, it's not safe for you to go there or there. But they still wouldn't let you go.
Okay. I mean, I don't care. They measured Earth flat there. So, I mean, how limited their expedition abilities are, I mean, I really don't care. Does it change anything about Earth and how it's measured? Flat, in their instance? No. But, I mean, they have a fascination with Antarctica. Obviously, they're going there, right? So good for them. So they wanted to go to Antarctica to explore? No. To measure Earth flat for 24 hours with elevation angles to the sun and weigh things perpendicular to a plane of reference. Down. Something not actually possible to describe in their religious belief. But there we go. I mean, having in or out isn't conducive with weighing things parallel to a plane of reference or measuring elevation angles with respect to surface level. All of those things are just affirmations that we live on and measure a flat Earth. But I mean, more power to them. I mean, I didn't know that they were going down there to explore. But what's that? They can't explore. They were told that they can't go beyond the boundaries. Why not? Were they under control? Did those little pieces of paper that they signed mean that they had to do what they were told? They're not free-spirited men. More like cucks. You do this, lads. Sign here. The paper now controls you. It's like a little magic trick, isn't it? Sign this little bit of paper, and then you won't do what we tell you not to do. Like, oh, right. How very adventurous of you. I mean, if they're discussing the potential for adventure across Antarctica, why didn't they? What, because they had little bits of paper that they signed? Well, all right, no worries. Just wander off anyway. Let's have a look. Wander off over that hill, see if there's a whole hidden continent, like was described by one of the Queen's higher-ups. What was his name on the chronologoscope or whatever it was? Was it Byrd? Admiral Byrd said there was a whole continent hiding with all sorts of resources. Oh, you weren't tempted to have a little look? All right. Sounds like these people are a bunch of cucks. So all they did was measure Earth flat there then. What were they trying to achieve again? Just the flat Earth measurements. Is that all they really gave us? No exploration then. Why didn't you explore? Sounds like $200,000 well spent. There's lots of controversy about what we can and can't do in Antarctica, and you just measured Earth flat there. What a wasted opportunity. I'm sure the men who scaled Everest for the first time felt just like Whitsit huffing on his vape and measuring Earth flat. Hey, Keegan, did you feel like the worldly Antarctic explorer when you measured Earth flat? I'm asking for a friend. About you, Toon? Oh, I already got your response live while you were doing it, right? How do you feel about a measurement of an Earth that's flat, Toon? Where are the guns, Nathan? Yeah, I already got your response, didn't I, Toon? Can you nudge Keegan and see how he feels about having measured Earth flat? I mean, he was so incredibly incompetent he couldn't get his camera to move in a circle. Could he? I mean, that's how stupid Dave McKeegan is. Couldn't even get his camera to move around in a full 360 rotation. Like, Keegan is utterly stupid. Incapable of even using a tripod correctly. What a moron. Meanwhile, what he did get, did he get some angles to the sun like Toon? Maybe you could tell me about the guns there, Keegan. Yeah, you can ask me about guns too. Yeah, Keegan also measured Earth flat there. Yeah, they all did. There is no exceptions to this fact. That's how Earth gets measured. I told them before they went. Yeah, they kind of knew. I mean, they still went there anyway, didn't they? What for? To explore? Nah, to get those flat Earth measurements. And phone me. Great job, lads. Great job proving that we measure Earth flat. So,
How do they
yes.
have your phone number?
Whose phone number?
Yours.
You want my phone number?
No, I'm saying, how did he get your phone number to call you?
He joined the show.
Oh, okay.
Because it's such an echo chamber, he managed to join the live stream from Antarctica. I mean, it's so inaccessible and such an echo chamber that you can literally join when you're on the Antarctic continent. Like, literally, someone who has stalked me that I would describe accurately as having contacted me hundreds of times. Yeah, I'm going to call that man a stalker. That's right. That man stalks me. What's that? You don't like the term? Let me present Exhibit A. 100 times plus, him contacted me proactively. Why? Well, to tell me about his religion that I left. That's why. Yeah. Well, that man managed to join from Antarctica. My echo chamber. An enemy, a stalker, managed to join from Antarctica. For what? Well, to tell me that he was measuring Earth. Like on screen now, this would be an elevation angle. It's only capable of measurement of a flat Earth. It's an angle. Upon hearing this terrible news for the 100th time, that very same stalker told me that there were no guns there. That apparently I'd lied about there being guns. I hadn't. I mean, being called a liar by a stalker only to be proven wrong 6 months later when someone's escorted off Antarctica by guards with guns. Yeah, well, that would prove that I'm definitely not a liar, but that's an 8-year-old straw man that avoids the awful truth that they're measuring Earth flat there. Unless you're McKeegan, then you're incapable of using a frickin' tripod. Yeah? I mean, I don't know if Dave McKeegan was dropped on his head, but, you know, tripods are a complicated thing. But it's not to worry. Toon definitely got the full 360. Every angle of a flat Earth that could be measured was measured. Right, Toon? I can still hear it echoing. Where are the guns, Nathan? You tried to deflect with measurements. Yeah, they're on screen of a flat Earth. They sent you nuts. I still want to hear from Duffy. Yeah, I could just see him in the background. Yeah, sitting on a stool while McKeegan and Toon were screaming my name into the snow. Yes, so I just want to know, how much of an echo did you hear, Duffy? I did see you in shot. So you definitely did hear my name screamed into the snow. I just want to know, how long did the echo last while my name echoed into the snow? I'm asking for a friend. Asking Duffy, that is. Yeah? How long did my name echo in the snow, Duffy? What about, he tried to deflect with measurements? Did that echo around too?
Yeah, Nathan, I wrote, remember at the time, I'll read it out for you, I wrote a little few words about that expedition. It's called Eratosthenes Returns. McToonstones, what have you done? 2,000 years later, and you're measuring angles to the sun. McToonstones, the earth is measured flat. McToonstones, the Greeks all knew that. And your sundial #experiment has just double proved that. Vertical and horizontal, nothing to do with curves. You've just shown us the angle measurements using the surface of Earth. McToonstones, when you gonna learn?
Awesome.
Did he offer you to go down there, Nathan?
No.
If Will Duffy said, here's the money, I want you to go down there, would you go?
No, Will Duffy has suggested that that exactly was the case, though. You realise that Will Duffy is a liar. That's what's out there. It's suggested that is the case.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's not. Will Duffy's a liar. That's what you've got. That's the standard. For you ballers, idiots, I like to call you, your standard is fraudsters and liars, turncoats and shills, measuring a flat earth. That's your standard for proving a ball. If you want to take TFE, that's what you got. A shill, a fraudster, a turncoat, and a couple of cowards, and a CGI special effects expert measuring Earth flat. That's what you got. After travelling parallel to surface level, measured in the black box data of their aircraft. So after travelling across a flat plane, they measured a flat Earth with directionality and orientation only capable of description with respect to a flat plane. Horizontal. Like Earth, because that's what they are measuring. Shout out to Duncan McLeod. You shouldn't rhyme that with that. And that's that. Says Duncan. Thank you for the super chat. I mean, would you prefer he was wearing a hat as he sat on the mat?
So do you think Witsit is a shield too, or just Jaren?
Do I think Witsit, with his free energy babble and ether talk, is a shill? No, I think he's totally legit.
But to be fair, though, he hasn't
Definitely
set the
no
Earth
flat
to the globe,
earthers.
whereas Jaren
Do you
has.
think they're shills, or do you think they're just actually not smart at all? They're dumb.
I don't know. I mean, it really
Fucking
doesn't
globers,
matter.
aren't they?
I mean, let's be honest. If you look at Jaren's track record, it's not difficult to believe he is a shill. Would you not agree? Now, I'm not saying he is a shill, but I'm just saying it would be very easy to say he's a shill, wouldn't it? The answer you're looking for is yes. Regardless, Earth's measured flat. I don't know if did Jaren take any elevation angles like this on screen now? You see this? This is what they did when they measured Earth flat for 24 hours with the elevation angle measurement to the sun. I wonder if Jaren did this. Maybe. Who knows? Was he just walking around talking about how ice wall could be rearranged or some crap? Talking about a marathon with his hoodie up.
Yeah, looking at all this and thinking about all this, I mean, what the hell were they thinking anyways? I mean, go to Antarctica to observe a sun or whatever? In the meantime, they knew all along that the argument is not the sun, but the measurement. How do we freaking measure all this? How do you get from point A to point B on this plane? So the fact
that's not how
that
they think, though.
yeah, but the fact that they didn't even like, I mean, that should have been the first part of their so-called experiment or whatever they want to call it. It's like they have to first address how they get there, and then worry about the sun once they are there. But the argument is obviously in the measurement itself, meaning they never were flat earthers. None of them. They were assholes. Liars.
Yeah, the only thing from the globe side is they saw that flat earthers only use Gleason's map, and if you go down there and observe a 24-hour sun, it debunks the Gleason's map, and if you debunk that map, then it could only be a globe. That's how they think.
But that shows the lack of understanding that they suffer from.
Yeah, it just means they're ignorant.
Yeah. I'm not pretty funny. No, they do understand. They try and explain to you how Earth curves measured. They will use examples like Eratosthenes measuring angles off the surface of Earth. When they show you the Earth curve calculator, they'll show you surface level parallel to eye level. So they fully understand how Earth's measured because that's how they describe it themselves. There's no way out of it for them because that's how it is measured. That's in all their curvature proofs, apparently. Alberuni, measuring heights of mountains.
All that proves is they are liars.
Surface of Earth.
Don't attribute to malice what could easily be accounted for with stupidity.
Yeah, Yeah, I agree that one of the beautiful things about this program is there's no need to categorize anyone as shill. You just look at the arguments, and their argument had no basis. And I think it was hatched before the whole measurements thing came on the table. So they had to go through with it, but it was kind of a Pyrrhic victory or defeat even, because it was already blasé. I mean, it was past its time. So it may have worked in the past, denouncing or trying to destroy a map, but the narrative here has gone beyond that way before. And and I was thinking too, someone asked, why do they do it? Who are they appealing to? And I think their primary function and their viewership is because certain people enjoy feeling smarter than others and are overjoyed that people still believe the earth is flat. And sometimes when I venture into the comment sections of any of those videos, that's what it's usually about, how stupid flat earthers are. So it's like this bonding experience, group bonding or something, cult bonding.
Yeah, isn't it sweet? The Dumbos of this world need to unite together in how smart they are by pointing at how dumb flat earthers are. The irony being, like at the beginning of this live show, that that guy was average guy. Perfect example. And in his mind, I mean, I understand that there's a discussion to be had here, but really nothing's really changed and nobody's proving anything. It could be a ball, it could be flat, you don't really know. What proof do you have? That's a guy who's come to the subject and is now, as close as you could call it, on the fence. And it was like, no, there isn't anything new. It always was a flat earth prerequisite whenever we measured Earth. It's just you weren't aware of that. There's a disconnect that you've been pre-programmed with from literally birth to believe that you're on a spherical surface in spite of every instinct and measurement and every fibre of your being knowing otherwise. You retain this belief. And you and the rest of the dumbos of this world can unite in my comments section, tapping each other on the back about how smart you are. Oh, the irony.
Yeah, it's really actually hilarious irony. And but you know, the fence sitters are playing a part currently, because I have a few acquaintances who are fence sitters, and they play the safe role socially of just mentioning that they're not sure, which I think is an advance from 15 years ago.
Yep.
They don't get vilified by everyone around them or disowned, but I have heard a few of them mention this. So
yeah.
Sometimes it annoys me because they don't want to be sure. Maybe there's a part of them that doesn't want to be sure. So,
and that's the way you're wrong. It's not that they don't want to be sure; they don't want to be wrong, and want to be broad or open-minded. So they know that one of their own values, intrinsic own values, is to be open-minded, to not out of hand reject things, or cognitively to be able to hold different positions simultaneously. People are told that that is what it takes to be cognitively capable. It's like, okay, yes, your shorts video has told you that if you can hold two different positions simultaneously, that makes you intelligent. Therefore, you better abide by it when you come across something like flat Earth. So instinctually they say, I'm so open frickin' minded, I'm going to entertain this, and we haven't figured it out, I don't really know yet, I haven't done it, I'm smart because I'm being so open-minded. And then you come across me and I go, no, you're just ignorant. Yeah, I've been here 10 years and I'm going to tell you because I now know. And I don't care, I'm not going to stand on ceremony or care that you think it's difficult to communicate with me. No, you're just ignorant. Now I'm going to tell you Earth's flat with something that you find quite surprising, like miles. And when it happens, you can't quite freaking believe it. Oh, well, I'll give you that. You won't give me anything. I don't need anything from you. I wasn't asking you for anything. You've come to me, you've sat in front of me and told me there's nothing to discuss here because you want to seem open-minded. And yet I've got disdain for you and your ignorance, haven't I? Because, yeah, there isn't much new. It was always flat. We just didn't realise because we'd been indoctrinated. Could be the cry of a man who doesn't want to take responsibility for his own bleeding ignorance. Yeah? Now I can sit back and laugh at how stupid I was. It's hysterical to me now, but I can take ownership of that. But when people say we've been brainwashed, it's the hidden hand, they've lied. Oh, shut up. Get over your stupid, ignorant self and accept how dumb you were. Yes, somebody else potentially was using that to control you. Oh, woe is you. Meanwhile, your dumbass still thought that curved linear miles were possible until I pointed it out. And now you recognise the awful truth that Earth is obviously an observably measured flat. By all accounts, that's all we can ever measure Earth as. And your ignorance led you to believe that, oh yeah, miles weren't linear. No, they always were, nothing's new. But for the fact that you had a religious belief in a ball that you were never standing on.
Yeah. For example, I'm thinking of this one person I know, and I say he's afraid to know for sure because, well, that's my impression, because then he would have, perhaps he'd feel some responsibility to then have to be a bit more, coherent talking to people. He would then know. And so if you know, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, knowing brings responsibility in certain ways.
Oh, absolutely. I give people a choice. So you get here, you find out it's flat, like that guy, 5150. You're like, okay, so you now appreciate that Earth can only be flat if you're ever going to measure it with miles, because they're linear. That's how miles work. They only work if Earth is flat. So if you accept miles, you accept that Earth is flat. It is quite literally that simple, if you want to accept that measurement. Not me, I don't give a crap, let's just get that clear. Don't start telling me about me and my miles. Yeah? It's just that's what miles are. Now, once you accept that, you've got two choices. Now, you say, accept the responsibility. Oh, that'll be previously watch all of my shows, dedicate a bit of your time each day to listening to the arguments unfold, go back through some of the old shows, listen to the Celestial Navigation education get put upon us by 10th Man, go back and learn the Black Swan. Then you take, that's responsibility, that's you taking that responsibility, learning the arguments. Alternatively, don't be a dick about it. Yeah? My wife, for example, I have said up until now, oh, she doesn't care. She's just a normal average baller. She's got nothing in this race, no horse in the race, doesn't care. No. She absolutely knew it was flat. She just chose not to be a dick about it and start telling people. She just got on with her day, in other words. Oh, at the point that she found out it was flat, she understood it and then didn't do anything with it. Why? Well, because she didn't have the time or inclination to learn it. And she'd rather be talking to her husband about kids and mortgages and where we're going next, what classes are on. Things that families do rather than flat Earth. Normal things, yeah? So she doesn't want to spend her time with her husband learning what he does at work. This is work. Flat Earth is work for me, yeah. Shocking, isn't it? People in the comments telling me to get a job. But this is work. In other words, I have done the responsible thing as a flat Earth YouTuber and dedicated my life to learning the ins and outs of the arguments. Now, it might not be to the standard that everybody would hope. In other words, there's always room for improvement, as you can listen to in the pre-show from Jardot's point. Absolutely valid. You're always learning. But ultimately speaking, you don't have to be a flat Earth evangelist. You don't have to take that responsibility. You can just know it's flat. And then you don't have to feel guilty when you nod along because somebody says, people all over the globe know that the planet's warming up. And you can go, and just nod. And you don't have to say, actually, you don't have to grow a bleeding neckbeard, is what I'm trying to say. Actually, I got that the other day. Someone was like, in the videos I've been putting about the guy that got taken away from Antarctica. Well, I had to find a video that had the words Chilean government and a picture of a man standing with guns. Basically what I put into Google as a search. Yeah. So I found the first image that had Chile and a man with a gun. And I used that as a flash. So I could put like a flashing up image of something to do with Chile and men with guns, right? And someone in the comments comes along. Now, they didn't say, actually, in that tone that neckbeards do. But they were like, actually, our pictures from Chile itself, there's no ice and snow there like there is in Antarctica. And I'm like, oh, really? Oh, I'm so sorry. I wasn't actually there to witness the moment he was taken away at gunpoint. And neither were the BBC, as I understand it. They did not have the foresight to see that happen. So no photographs were taken. I'm really sorry. You're like, but actually, your picture of Chilean guards wasn't taken on Antarctica. You're like, no, it wasn't, no. Actually, Earth still measured flat. What's that? No response? Just talking about where the photo of the men with guns is? Really? You really want to carry on this straw man? Did it not make Toon look stupid enough the first time around? You want to come to me in the comments with your neckbeard and your actuallys. How lovely. You don't need to be that guy. Just know it's flat because you know what a mile is, and then get on with your day. Don't be a dick. You don't have that responsibility. It's not up to you to educate next man. The real reason, and don't even deny it, anybody who denies this, I'll just shoot you down so quick. It's because you want to feel special, isn't it? You have suddenly got a bit of knowledge, flat earth that is, that others don't. You found something out that they don't know, so instinctually you want to lord it over them. And don't even pretend that's not the case. It absolutely is. Now, you can dress that up. I'm not talking to you necessarily, ventriloquism and your friend in this example. But generally speaking, people like to feel that they've got one up over next man, like we were talking about in the comments, in all irony, when the people of the comment section are taking the piss out of how idiotic the flat earthers still are. I can't believe there's still flat earthers all around the globe. Ha 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 ha! I'm gonna tap you on the back, aren't you funny? Yeah, we're really funny. No, you're idiots. But you want to feel like you've got something up over and above the flat earthers. So you feel special. And everybody does it, because why are half the flat earthers? Because they want to feel special and lord it over next man. I know something you don't. And what's that? Earth's flat. No, and you're an idiot moron. No, I'm not. We might have free energy too. That's where the conversation
Can I play that?
Sorry, go ahead.
Devil's advocate for a second? Yeah. Well, there is something about the demolishing aspect of flat Earth to a lot of other sort of fake discourse. And for example, I've had conversations with women who have confessed that they don't have a child because of global warming. So, there's a lot of life decisions that people do make, well, or they say they do, right? So there's a lot of connections there, and sometimes knocking over one domino, you can't do it forcefully, though. I do agree, and you can't lord it over someone because they'll call you pedantic. And I mean, we've all been probably guilty of this at some point, but
I don't know. I'm picturing all sorts of things. I've got to be honest, ventriloquism. So here's me picturing you,
sure,
sauntering up to this rather special-looking lady at the bar, and she's like, "No, I never had children. The world's such a terrible place." And you saying, "My darling, let me tell you about this special thing called flat Earth. It's okay. You can have my child. It's all okay."
That's a good one, actually. Someone should try that. It may work.
Don't have children with that woman, is what I would be saying to you. Step away from the bar, skank.
Yeah, it's probably an excuse anyway, right?
Or you could have asked her. You could have asked her, "Where's the greenhouse for these gas emissions?"
Oh, you'd get into the container with her, would you?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, no children, eh? Anyway, this was a fun diversion. But yeah, just around at this point.
Nathan,
just around at
last
this
time I
point,
checked in.
just one sec. To round at this point, so if you find out Earth's flat, if you come to the show for the first time, highly unlikely. More likely you're watching a Simon Dan video. But if, for the sake of argument, by some stupid, crazy, weird world, you manage to find this as your first flat Earth video, how ludicrous. Don't be a dick. Yeah, it's measured flat. Yeah, all measurements of Earth are flat. Yeah. The globe was made with those flat Earth measurements. Yeah, shocking, isn't it? But now you know that. Oh, right, you don't believe me. It's not about belief. These are facts. Oh, right, you want to go and double check. Okay, I'll wait. You got 3 minutes. You back? You checked. Miles definitely still linear. Yeah? Okay, so you now know it's flat then. Yeah, you don't need anything else. Just get on with your day. You still got a mortgage to pay, right? You still got a job to do. You still got a family to feed. Do those things. Enjoy them. You're not here for very long. Don't worry yourself about flat Earth. Just know it's the case. Yeah. There's people who want to tell you that you're kept under control and there's a hidden hand and it's really all about 9/11 and you might get free energy. And you could waste your life with that shite if you choose. But me, I'm saying your better option is just know it's flat and get on with your day. Don't need me, don't need anybody else. Just get on with what you were doing. But no, it isn't a globe. That was just a religion you were born into without your awareness being made aware of it until now. But now you're aware. You don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to feel special, like you need to lord it over your neighbour because he doesn't know it's flat. You don't have to tell your neighbour. Because if you do, there's a good chance he'll argue with you and you won't have the capabilities of telling him why it's flat, like I've just done. Yeah? You were lucky enough to come in front of a load of flatties who managed to take you by the hand and lead you on the right course. Or in the case of 5150 earlier, point out that miles are linear. That's it. Once you've got that, just get on with your day. Don't be a dick. Or buy my book, and then you can be a flat Earth ninja.
Well, I just told this guy I was working with, I said, I don't want to ruin your day. And the other guy said, why? What are you, one of those flat earthers? I said, no, I shouldn't have meant it that way.
Yeah. Instinctually, one of the people who's going to ruin his day is a flat earther, though. Right, any more for any more?
Yeah, did you just say something about a book? Because that's what I was going to ask. Because last time I tuned in, I thought I heard you said you're talking about you're about to make a book. So is that out?
It's being finished off. The last editing stage, if you will, is being done. So for an example, we're on the 13th chapter, I believe. And it's a celestial navigation chapter, so I need to get in touch with 10th Man so he can cast his eye over it now. I've had Brian cast his eye over the bits that are relevant to him. Adam's cast his eye over almost all of it because he's been the one. What's it called when they're doing is it stenography? The typing? QE's obviously glanced his eye over it and given us huge chunks of material, which we've had to, as we put it, de-QEify. In other words, make it sound like me rather than QE. Most of the arguments are like that in that regard. It's sort of QE's arguments through the lens of flat Earth debate, originally written by me, polished by about 5 people subsequently. But that's all done. It's all. I mean, strictly speaking, it could be released tomorrow. But if I was to say that to anybody who's like, "Well, hold on, you're talking about my argument in there," it needs to have my approval, and that's kind of how it's going. Everyone wants to. At the beginning of this show, I got Jardo going. I want you to do a good job of representing the celestial navigation argument with a really good understanding of latitude and longitude and what comes after the flat Earth measurement. And if someone puts it to you, I want you to be able to answer it concisely so you're not made a fool of as you represent me. That's the general consensus. It wasn't that concise, but that was the general discussion in the pre-show, right? Well, with that in mind, each and every argument that I've gone through in the book, each and every talking point or demolition of a globe or black swan has got the original author, obviously much of this is QE, hence he's probably spent the most time in front of it, wanting to go through it and say, I approve. Yes, this is of a satisfactory standard from my perspective, given that it's me who authored the argument originally. It doesn't matter that it's my words and my take on it. They still want, not editorial approval, but they want to know it's right. So at the moment, we're going through celestial navigation. That's going to be a 10th Man thing, and he's going to get his sort of final say on whether or not he's happy with the words that have ended up on the page. Now, coincidentally, 10th Man was the original person there when I did the first draft, when I did it verbally, and then it was typed up. So I did it, into the mic with a bit of ushering along from 10th Man and the publicist. So that's how the book originally turned into a first draft. Now we're on the 4th draft, and there's going to be one more crossing of I's and dotting of T's, which should take a lot less time than this one is. Because in some instances, people aren't happy with the way their argument's been put forth, and they do want to make alterations to the way I'm putting it. And that's fine. I've allowed it to a degree. I'm now running out of money, so I do want it to just come out. And it could. It's written. But, people want it to be perfect when it does finally come out. So that polish has been through the mill 2 or 3 times, and it will go through one more time. It will come out in 2025. I am supremely confident. So it's very soon, given that we're halfway through the year already. It's imminent. It's been 2 or 3 years in the making now. So, yeah. Very soon, to answer your question.
Nathan.
Yes.
For the book, the last few weeks, there's been this argument that's been coming up, or discussion concerning a mile being measured. It must be a flat line. That when you say a mile or a distance, that is based on flat measurements. And in discussions with other guys here in Switzerland, it comes up that they say, yeah, but wait a minute, if I take a measuring band and I measure my waist, then, I measure a distance, and my waist, it gives me the circumference of my waist, but that doesn't mean that my waist is flat. So, but I've heard your arguments behind it. I do understand it, but I'm just curious if you are addressing that in the book. Because that's been a point that...
yes, I understand. The combination of yards, linear in nature, is what defines a mile. Now, unless you're going to suggest that you've got a mile-long waist that you're wrapping a tape measure around, the mile, a distance measurement across land, is still linear. And always will be. So if you want to say, yeah, we measure Earth flat with a linear mile, but I can measure this orange non-linear with a tape measure. Yeah, you could take that linear inch in a floppy measure and wrap it around the circumference of an orange. But miles, like a standard that we measure the surface of Earth with, they're linear.
Yeah, I would like to just point out that that has been a point that's been coming around and that has been taken out of context and used arguably, justifiably, because there's a misunderstanding about this, and I'm just curious if that point is addressed in the book, because. It's kind of like a newer subject that's been coming up in the discussions.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the title of the book, Welcome to Flat Earth, was changed from All Roads Lead to a Flat Earth, as the general way the book was written in the third draft or second draft was to take it from the original concept of just housekeeping questions and explaining how we came to them all, to how each and every one of those points, like the diagrams on screen, always come from flat Earth measurements. Now, in second or third, I forget which draft, it was that way round. All roads lead to a flat Earth, as opposed to all measurements of Earth are flat, which is where we've ended up. So the subtle alteration along the way hasn't been too difficult to incorporate as we've been editing the book. Again, it is part of the editing process that has changed over the couple of years that the book's been written. So, yeah, I can see what you're suggesting. Is that new argument incorporated? It's like, yeah, every single time that the book's worked on, the most recent up-to-date arguments are incorporated into the text. And then when we go back through it, minor, subtle changes from all roads lead to a flat Earth to Earth is measured flat. Those alterations do get made on the fly. And there probably will be things that we'll catch on the, my God, I can't believe we're going to say it, 5th draft of the book, which hopefully won't be a draft, it'll just be an editing process, but still, strictly speaking, we'll be going through it for a 5th time. But yeah, that will absolutely be incorporated. How Earth is measured with miles. I mean, also, people's fat bellies get measured with miles. or maybe they don't. I'm just missing something, and it sounds like a segue and subversion away from the Earth that's being measured with miles. When people say, I can measure my fat belly. Yeah, you can, you fat bastard. Meanwhile, we measure Earth flat with linear miles, don't we, fatty? That's what I'd say. If someone tried to segue away, I'd embarrass them by calling them a fatty. You always want to talk about your fat belly, don't you, fatty? I'm talking about how we could be walking across the plane of Earth's surface with a linear mile measurement that's always flat. It's linear. It's how we measure Earth. But here we are talking about how fat you've gotten when you wrap that tape measure around your fat belly.
Yeah, well, the fallacy is in that when the tape measure was created, it was created on a flat line. And because it was applied to my fat belly, therefore then that tape measure becomes a measurement of circumference, which it doesn't, but it is interpreted that way.
Exactly.
And it's a pretty good fallacy,
It's a good little magic trick. Yeah. Oh, well, therefore we can describe these miles as circumferential value. No, you can't. That's a rearrangement of the concept utilised when you say mile. And I'm just not going to have it anymore. No, you can't do that. If someone's like, I can wrap a tape measure around my belly. All right, you're wrapping a tape measure around your ball Earth that you've measured flat to create mathematically. Because that ball at radius 3959 is a derivation of an angle measurement to Polaris at its minimum. That's the outside extremity of your ball you reify. So you need to measure Earth flat. So it definitely isn't an outside edge of a ball that you're presupposing you can wrap a tape measure around like your fat belly. I'm thinking no.
There's the expression also in English, something is a yardstick of something else, meaning yardstick. Obviously, it's a stick. It's a straight, hard surface. It doesn't bend.
I think you've just mistaken what they actually say. It's the yard hula hoop. I think you'll find. This is standard. This is the obvious like yard hula hoop that we all use for this, isn't it? It's the standard. This is the yard hula hoop we gauge everything by. I'm only judging you by this yard hula hoop, like I judge everybody by the same yard hula hoop.
An oblate hula hoop, a yard oblate hula hoop.
Yeah, these measurements are all linear, and when they're applied to Earth, they're linear. So, yeah, I'm fine if you want to derive or calculate radial values and call those miles and describe the in to the down that we have on a flat surface, parallel and perpendicular and all the other axiomatic concepts that you can't use on a globe that you've created with flat Earth measurements. So in this transitional period, yeah, the book's getting a slight alteration, subtle though it is, to incorporate those facts that the argument has subtly changed because there isn't an argument anymore. Prior, it's if we take these flat Earth measurements and acknowledge them as flat Earth measurements, you can use them to say how a globe would work, and I can use them to say how a flat plane would work. We can compare angles on a globe to angles on a flat Earth. Now we say you can only have angles on a flat Earth. What's that? You want to say how many angles and degrees you'd see of this sun on a globe? Then you won't be using this concept of degrees then, because you'll need a flat Earth for that. So there isn't an argument. The minute we describe something in distance terms, miles, it's going to be flat. You say you don't want it to be flat, you want it to be curving. You don't want the linear measurement anymore. You don't want that. Okay, kick it to the curb then, and you haven't got any miles to claim. Oh, what you must use miles, linear and flat. Yeah, on your knees. Yeah, you're measuring Earth flat with miles, then you understand that. Oh, I will give you this. You're not giving me anything. I'm demanding you get on your knees. You're the one who wants to use these flat Earth measurements. A minute ago, you didn't. You didn't want them to be Earth. They were just conceptual. We weren't measuring Earth. What miles? But now you want to use them again, right? You want to talk about how far away something is. Linear, flat, it's a mile. That's it. You're on your knees on a flat Earth to use these. Or don't. I don't care. But that's it. It's game over. There was never a discussion. These notions are definitely incorporated into the book as it progresses. Any more for any more? We're going to round out a live show.
I was wondering something.
No, go ahead.
Like maybe you don't have an answer for this right now, or you don't want to answer. But how do you see your in the next coming year? Say, how do you see your YouTube channel changing or evolving? If you have any plans to do that, I have a request, and one is once you put the book out, maybe if you could make a video essay kind of based around the book, and then two is I would love a video of like your best blow ups, your best insults. Because I love those when you're just like going off. And I think that would get a lot of views if you had like a highlight clip of all your biggest insults of like rumpuses and all those guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to change my standard in regards to the last one, to my best blow-ups. No, I mean, I'm getting told to not do that. But, I mean, I get that 50% of my audience loves watching that. I get that. I'm not decrying you, is my point. Adam would back me up on this. There's plenty of other people like yourself that just say exactly the same thing. They just want to hear me tear a strip of ballers. I'm leaving gaps, and he's just...
Yeah.
You're roboting.
Yeah, I love
You're roboting.
that stuff.
You can roboting.
And then also, yeah. And then I was thinking, if you did a video essay, you could think a video essay would pair well.
Gotcha. Video essay, highlight reel of blow-up clips. If you could just pop yourself on mute, though, you are roboting straight through the middle of me. Yes, indeedy. Now, as I say, there's 50% of the audience that absolutely despise the fact that I get angry with ballers and insult them in vulgar ways. And they're trying to tell me to do quite literally the very opposite. On the other hand, there's a good chunk of the audience that just wants to hear me tear a strip off the people that they despise because they've been maltreated by them. And those people see, I don't know, vengeance is the correct term, but a bit of vengeance in my treatment of those people. Now, I would suggest that it's done for dramatic effect 90% of the time. 10% of the time, they do actually irritate me, especially if it's flat earthers. I'll be honest, more often than not when it's actual irritation rather than just over-dramatized reactions to get a point across, make it more dramatic. When it's actual irritation, it's normally flat earthers that do it. Jaren's always going to be the example of this. I literally lost sleep over Jaren, irritated with his inability to put a decent argument across for Earth being flat. He can demonstrate exemplary research skills to the point where he's even impressing Brian with things that he's pulled out of the bag, seemingly from nowhere. And you're like, wow, I didn't know that. The last one being the association with, I think it was Big Bang. No, that's Lemaitre. I can't remember what it was that Jaren had pulled out of his arse that had impressed Brian that he passed along. Something to do with the creation story.
It was Alfred Russel Wallace, who is part of the Bedford Levels thing against robotism, that he was one of the originators prior to Darwin of basically Darwinism.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that little tidbit came from Jaren. So you're like, okay, so you can pull out these bits of information that if you don't know that Darwinian nonsense has come from an opponent that Robotham was in court with, like, small world. Yeah, really, really, really is, isn't it? And who's giving us this information? Jaren. So you're like, wow, that's amazing. You'd think he could just explain that an angle's coming off a flat plane like this on screen now. It's really basic. But no, he seemed to balls it up every time. Quite, not even balls it up. Understand it enough to be able to say, no, we're dealing with a tangent. Like, what? What? I can't quite believe my ears. You're on my side? Definitely not is obviously the case now. And while this is unfolding, everyone around me is going, give up on Jaren, it's looking bad on you. Looks bad on you because we all know he's a shill. And you will eventually get tarred with that brush when it's really glaring that he's a shill. People will think you're on his frickin' side if you don't stop trying to help him. And I'm like, this is keeping me up at night. He's a flat earther. He's got 130,000 people watching him. Why can't he know these arguments? They're really easy. So you go and try and help the guy out because you're losing sleep over it. Actually getting upset is my point, 10% of the time. And who's it with? A fellow flat earther? Nah, he was never a flat earther. What's that? Am I calling him a shill? Oh, no, definitely not. I'm sure it's all perfectly above board. Perfectly natural. How did he do on Netflix again? Interesting, you say? Edited wrong, of course. Of course. Nothing to do with him. If you want to lead the controlled opposition, then you put someone like Jaren in place. That's what you do. Meanwhile, who gives a toss if he's a shill? Earth's measured flat, much to my frustration. Now I can just say these things because it doesn't matter. Me saying he's a shill, me saying he's not a shill, it doesn't matter anymore. Because he's not on our side anymore, is he? Right? So it doesn't matter. What matters is I had an inability to communicate with him when he was allegedly a flat earther about how Earth was measured flat. Seemingly it was an uphill struggle with all the best arguments that we developed and refined to the point where we could just put them across in 2 or 3 sentences to someone like Jaren. Easy to understand, easy to comprehend, easy to mess up instantly and say he's wrong. What's going on here, I used to think. Well, I mean, you can call that being a shill. Who cares? Earth's measured flat. And now life's easier because seemingly the people who are alleged to be on my own side aren't fighting against me. Now they've all exposed themselves. I mean, suggested that they now believe it's a ball. It's like Tiger Dan did. Remember Tiger Dan? Shilliest of all the shills, the original flat earth shill for this wave. And what did he use? Oh, the azimuthal equidistant North Pole centric globe projection, otherwise known as Gleason's map. Yeah, he did. He did that 10 years ago, didn't he? It's almost like they've only got one playbook. Like, get a load of people together to follow in the footsteps of the great and almighty Gleasons, and then show how the Gleasons doesn't work and disband them all. It's almost like we've seen this happen before, isn't it? Yeah, it's exactly what we saw happen before. Right about the time that Jaren came on the scene. Tiger Dan was already here, making videos. And then he found the Gleasons wasn't working, and obviously he buggered off permanently because it's a ball now. But happy days. Pat Steer got the guy on his show. Remember back in the day, 10 years ago? Seeing Tiger Dan on Flat Earth and other hot potatoes. Those were the days. There's going to be people who are listening to this that are like, what are you babbling about? Yeah, 10 years ago. They did exactly the same thing that they've done in Antarctica with the Gleason's map. Literally, play for play, the same exact thing.
I remember Tiger Dan.
You remember?
I'm in a place.
You remember Tiger Dan?
I do, yeah. I had nothing to do with him. I had no connection to him. I talked to him, never followed him, never did anything. I heard it. He said something like he couldn't make Australia work and left. That's the last thing I heard. Okay then.
But when he said he couldn't make Australia work, all he did, if you take like people take multiple Pokemon cards and they'll cut out parts of the card and layer it on top of the other card so it looks 3-dimensional. That's kind of what he did. So he's taken a cutting knife to all the continents and cut them out of the Gleason's map. And then before your eyes, on video number 8 of his 12-part I'm going to prove a flat Earth, and then, oh no, actually I can't get this Gleason's map that I'm creating from the Gleason's map to work. because he's constructing what he says is the flat Earth, and all he's doing is putting together the Gleason's map. This is 10 years ago.
Yeah, he's building his load.
Yeah, but they haven't got any more plays than that. That's the only play, because here we are 10 years later with the exact same playbook coming out.
I'm waiting for Witsit to turn. I'm waiting to see what happens with Witsit. He's not going to agree with the rotation, but he'll probably agree with the whole being a sphere thing at some point.
Right, I'm going to round out this live show. We're going to carry on the after show. So with that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And, of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on an after show.
You and Brian may be retards.
Excuse me. Check out this comment from Fisherman in a Box. It says, I'll put it up on screen. Oh, can I do it? It says, I've lost it now. Oh, goddamn. Oh, here we go. Very entertaining whilst educationally crisp stuff, Nathan. I'll give you that. Double thumbs up. Oh, thanks, Fisherman in a Box. Really appreciate it. And then Rob Noxious says, sad. Oh, well, thanks, Rob Noxious.
Rob Noxious.
Nathan, I need you to update your link again. Something went wrong last time you posted it.
Okay.
Go to main text chat. Go to main text chat, and you should see it there.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be it. And let me.
Me with my bad self knowing what that means.
What do you mean?
He said, go to main text chat. I'm like, yeah, I know what that means.
And scroll all the way down. Make sure you get the latest
There,
post.
man. Copy text. Discord.com invite KNMNUDQC capital GV. That one, yeah?
Yeah, what you had in your link was my Bible server. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, there you go.
Very good.
So you're all set. I've been posting it in YouTube chat for today at least when I got it there. So sorry about that. That was my bad.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Hopefully you've got some more people in your Bible study.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I'm going to show move us too, by the way, guys, in the after show. Voice move.
We all cool?
Hang on.
We all good with the rent? Oh, no, he's not answered. That's never a good sign.
I'm still here. I'm listening. I'm
so
good.
we all good with the rent? Metaphorically for, are we behaving well in your server?
I've been mostly focusing on text chat and YouTube today. It was kind of fun being there today. I was listening in the pre-show, though. I was just sitting and listening. Well, listening and doing some other stuff, I guess. Just catching up to see where you guys are at.
That's a beautiful non-answer. Oh, you're assessing us. Oh, I see. To be determined.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better to assess, find out where you guys are at before I start yapping, right?
Yes, I understand the corporate speak. And just want to understand where you guys are at. Yes, indeedy.
I've been away for a while, so I should listen and find out and catch up a little bit while listening, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, we can move off me. We can focus on Adam or Brian.
Don't listen to Freud.
Sorry, say again, Brian.
Don't listen to Friday.
Listen to Friday. Who's Friday?
Oh,
Friday's
that's when you got
show.
caught in the heat. Yeah, I listened to a little bit of that, Brian. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, things got a bit hot and heavy on Friday.
Yeah. I heard it. I heard a little bit of it, or parts of it. Well, you guys are all good now, so that's good.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what was going on Friday, but whatever. Great. I'm glad it's all sorted out. Happy days.
Yeah. There was too much male menstruation on Friday.
Oh, wasn't that yesterday?
That was yesterday. I was accused of menstruating, actually. Every time that happens, right, someone comes in and they want to sort of take the conversation in a certain direction. And I know it's just coincidence, or I'm going to suggest it's just coincidence. But the minute that got shut down yesterday, my stream started to misbehave. I know I did say this on the live stream. The same thing happened today. And that dude came in. They've always got there's you know what gait is when you describe how someone walks? If I say someone's got a certain gait, would you know what I meant by that?
Yeah, like a Jamaican gait, little bump and slide gait.
There's a certain way. If I say swagger, that might also mean the same way. There's a certain stride in people's step. In other words, the way that they behave is of a certain way that will prick a policeman's attention. So if the policeman sat in the squad car, in the panda car, right, the Battenbergs on the side or the jam sandwich, whatever, whatever you guys call cop cars, the cop's just sat there eating his donut and drinking his coffee. And he'll glance out of the window and see someone walking in a certain way, just that little bit too quickly or just that little bit too slowly, that it just catches their attention. That's what I mean by gait, right? Now, by metaphor, by comparison, there's certain people who join the show and they just have a certain gait in the way that they behave, in the way they talk, by comparison. Now, I don't know what the word is for that, right? That's why I'm using gait and using a way that someone walks to make a comparison, yeah? But how they introduce themselves, swagger into the discussion, how they hold themselves while they're talking to you, how they react when you step on them a little bit to test them. I'm sure everyone, maybe people don't pick up on this, but each and every guest, you'll as the more dominant person in charge, test them, see how well they take instruction, so to speak, and see if they'll step off when it's inferred verbally or with tone or whatever that they should be doing so. In other words, see if I can push them to belligerence. Yeah? How quickly that occurs, things like that. This is me being the metaphorical policeman, just sniffing around. Can I smell cannabis here, sir? That's what I'm doing, right? The metaphorical equivalent of scoping out their gait.
Ganja.
Go on, Adam, sorry.
That whiff of ganja is their questioning. It's like with the guy on Friday, I'm not sure what today's, but when they come in and they're kind of, oh, I thought it was this, please, could you, there's a mannerism that they have in terms of them pretending to be innocent and here to learn. It's very obvious. They're not like somebody who's here to learn. They're guiding it, trying to get a certain topic and a certain statement from you is the way it feels, whilst feigning ignorance and accepting your superior knowledge. Oh, sorry, I got that wrong, did I? What I meant was, but like with because it's going, and then they'll just bullshit to try and intrigue you. So, and if you do this, then basically pi works out to be 2. Yeah, okay. That's either somebody setting a trap or they're fundamentally retarded. Yeah, it's one or the other. They're being disingenuous and trying to trick you, or they're a mon because they think pi can equal 2. Why is Neil having a disco? I'm going to have a seizure if he carries on.
A disco?
Look at his screen. Got like some...
I see. Yeah. I kind of ignored it. Semi-seizure inducing that it is. But yeah, there's a certain swagger about them, isn't there? And I think it's human nature to be lazy when you've got an ulterior agenda. When you've got motivation to get somewhere, people can't help try and be efficient about that. So there's something unnatural about how they behave around us. And it's happened the last 2 or 3 days. Someone comes in and, I just happen to be off mute for you to be telling me not to be. But while I'm off mute and you're addressing me, okay.
It's not genuine, is it? It's not a genuine interaction. You can feel it. There's something not real. It's contrived. It's your spidey senses, isn't it? Basically, you tell when someone's being genuine with you.
Yeah, you can get that, like the feeling I was getting prior to coming in on Friday, listening to that guy talk, was Thursday or Friday, whatever it was. Only for a couple of minutes, then I came in. I was feeling he was a baller because I was feeling he just wasn't honest. He wasn't being honest. I even called him a baller at one point. I said you're either something or you're a baller at one point in my interaction with him. I know if it was Thursday or Friday, but it was like the stuff, the way he was saying it, and the way and then when I was arguing with you, it was Friday, because when I was arguing with you, Nathan, he was coming off mute trying to troll us. You listen back to that audio. So, like, that's your instincts are often right, you know, with people. But all you have to go on is their voices in this scenario, isn't it? Most time you don't even have a camera go on. You just have what they're saying and how they're saying it. So you need to be astute. And most of the time they're right. They are actually trolling you or treating you like a fool or something. You know, that go on, Neil.
You are, because they want a new talking point. So he goes in, comes with his nonsense, and now you got them all talking about it in 24/7. Ayuka and whatever else his name is, Elderbear. Yeah, they're trying to put the claim on us now. It's all to change the narrative.
Yeah, so we've been excluded from this 24/7 section, and then our seeming replacements are Elderbear telling that group what we say and what our talking points are. Like, isn't that interesting?
Elderbear, I mean, if there was ever a more dishonest person, I'd have a hard time finding them. You know what I mean? Elderbear is just a waste of space, is all the guy is. He has no honesty within him. Zero honesty. It's a lack of respect. When you can feel that lack of respect, someone is not respecting you. You can feel it. They're treating you like you're stupid. They're treating you like they're wanting Jupiter's life in some way, and they're already looking down their nose at you prior to trying to lie to you, to give them, let's just say, to give them a proper reason to look down their nose at you in their minds. You know what I mean? These people, they're already low lives. You know what I mean? And they already don't respect you. They already think they know better. I don't know where this comes from. I said we encounter it in real life too. These people who have this lack of respect for people, and you kind of go, "Who are you? Who are you to? Do you know what I mean? To disrespect anyone? You know what I mean? You're nothing. You know, but it's like an arrogance or something."
It's just people who want to go out of their way to knock you down if you've built up a bit of a reputation. You know that from your comment section.
Yeah, I get it. But it's more obvious in the comment section, or my comment section. Like, I mean, I know what I'm dealing with. It's harder to do because it's like their words give them away, or what argument they're making gives them away. But then sometimes they might try to hide their argument, but they can't. It's so obvious what they're edging at, or where you think they're going. But with this situation where you have the Ella Bears of the world coming in, like, remember he was pretending to be someone else there for ages, and he went off mute. I mean, would you spend your time, your day, every day, coming into a show pretending to be someone else? I mean, what kind of nothing is going on with you? If that's what you feel you have to do.
It's one of those. I'd hate that. It goes against my every fibre. So when I first got the internet, I've probably told this story before, but the guy who I was working with at the time, his name was Sam. I explained to him that my parents had just retired from a computer shop business and they'd given me a computer when they retired, and it was just sat in a cupboard. So he came over, set it up, put AOL on it, and instantly on his AOL account started asking girls what their underwear looked like. And I'm like, I don't like this at all. I'm like, I want my account to be my real name and the year I was born in, so that when I approach people with my account name, which was Nathan Oakley 1980. And that's what, when I was, I don't know, 18, 19, 1998, when I first started talking to people via instant messaging online, everyone was telling me, you can just delete the instant messages, you can just ask people what they're wearing, it doesn't matter. And about 2, 3, 4 years later, Chris Hansen to Catch a Predator. You're like, yeah, everybody under the misapprehension that you can just delete these messages and then they don't exist. You're like, you're communicating with people. So if you just use your real name, there's a much better chance that you will be you. And anything that you shouldn't do, you'll be ashamed of because your name will be attached to it. It'll keep you honest. That's what my mentality told me when there's suddenly this temptation to go online and just start asking random girls out. What I did was went online and asked random girls out with my real name because I was looking for girls. It's like, why would I want to hide behind a fake name? I want you to know my name's Nathan Oakley. Yes, I do want to take you out. Now they make a whole entire industry of that. But at the time then and right through till modern day, there's sad cucks that can't bear to be their real selves because it's so much easier to be a pretend person. It's easier, Brian. Now it's how I can call you Brian, you can call me Nathan. No offence to anybody who wants a little bit of an anonymity, if I could say it, anonymity. Fair enough to you, you know, but there's people out there who are deviant. They're doing things that they shouldn't. And the shitbags of this world are typically hiding behind a fake name. Well, because they're in sincerity just cowards. Couldn't bear to actually own those words themselves. Cowards. Me, when I'm telling people off, when I'm using vulgar language, I then have to own it, don't I? I get held accountable for it, don't I? Yeah, and I'm intrinsically aware of it. Yeah, I have to wear it on my sleeves. But by the contrapositive, when you see someone like Elder Bear, or what's his ulterior ego called? What's it called? Hayuka. I just shake my head and think, you sad, sad man.
Exactly. I mean, you have to ask yourself, like, I understand people naturally wanting anonymity on the internet. And part of the reason people do, most normal people who want a bit of anonymity, it's because of the predators that are out there and the trolls, right? So I get that, right? That's okay. But there is then that element who want anonymity so they can do that stuff, so they can behave in that way that they are unwilling to do most of the time in their real life. Now, I would say Elder Bear is a little bit different. I would say in real life, he does behave in that kind of way. Like he comes in as Elder Bear. I'd say he does behave that kind of way in real life. And I'd say he's the type of fella who does it where, like, he's the type of person, he gives me the impression he's the type of fella who does it when he has people there with him that will help to protect him. You know what I mean? Or you know, he does give me that impression that he is someone in real life who you just would not like.
Maybe, but I tend to find just generally people's persona is just that online. They have a persona, that they have a way of behaving that's not like they behave when they're in real life and recognise the consequences that might befall them when they behave like that.
Well, I think Elder Bear has some connection to some biker gang, right? You know one of these biker gangs? Right now, maybe he doesn't, but I do remember there was some talk about that, and I do remember him having a thumbnail for his thumbnail on somewhere being like the back patch of a biker gang, right? So he does strike me as the type of fella who would be messing with someone while he has a whole gang there with him, if you understand what I mean. He does strike me as that kind of fella. But then again, he could just be promoting online that he has a biker gang or is affiliated to or some nonsense like that. Either way, he is a lowlife. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. Do you remember when we held him to task for a whole evening and we showed him how he was wrong, we showed him how his faith in Bev was wrong, etc., etc., etc. And it got to a point where it was make or break. He either had to concede at that point that he was wrong or do something else. And he chose to start talking about Eleanor and about Clover.
That's correct. You're right, Brian. You have a way of getting people to the point, but then not conceding. Why do you think that is?
That's a talent. That's why I use his comments as an example. So where I say I can pick up a swagger from how someone's talking verbally, that takes longer. Whereas when I say that they need to get there quickly, efficiently, that's what gives them away verbally. Well, in text, it's much more obvious because people are even more lazy and there's even less time to get their to their motivational point. They want to get there in 3 or 4 comments, right? And responses can take 10 minutes to come, unlike verbally where you get a response almost immediately. So for Brian, their motivation reveals itself within a couple of comments. They give themselves away almost immediately, in other words, where they want to go, I mean.
Well, the thing about this is that on in a comment section like mine, what's easy about it in some ways is where are they going to be asking you a question from? Complete new stock account. Account created yesterday, right? And listen, I was just wondering about they come at me with some ridiculous question that's obviously a loaded question that they are trying to go to get me on a gotcha on in 4 comments time. So it is far easier to deal with that. Because you can't be going checking if someone's on a stock account or whatever, or any of this other nonsense when you're done the other live show. You have to just go by the people that are there and what they're saying. And they have to verify themselves somewhat to even be in the Discord server. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of have no choice but to go along with it. So it is much faster, way faster with text, because they will, they're either a stock account or they're someone like, what's that guy? What's his name? He's motivated.
Ian, Tony, Simon, Fred.
No. I can't remember his name. He's like he'd be one of these ballers who hate you, right? And they think they know better. One of those type of ballers who hates you and thinks that they know better, and they try to I've had. There was a doctor guy phoned up just as on memory some while back. He came in to my comments or something, and he said something, and because he was a doctor, right? He was just an MD, right? And I put him in his place, and he went, and there was 1 or 2 comments between us, and he ran off, basically, right? But that kind of person, they come in and they have something to say, they think they know stuff, and they don't actually know what they're talking about, and they're a doctor or something, as if that matters. Do you know what I mean? So you have that. But other than that, in comments, you have trolls. Obvious trolls who just want to fill up the comment section with rubbish. Keep putting bags of rubbish in your house. Eventually, they'll force you out. That's kind of their attitude. Or no one will want to come in there, basically.
Yeah, like you say, they give themselves away a lot quicker because they don't want to sit around waiting for 3 hours to subtly get you to a point where you're talking about the subject they want to misrepresent you on.
Yeah, because they have to put more effort in, but like when they come in to you and speak,
You have to put more effort in. Unless they just come in and straight away start with the how many meters in a kilometer, Nathan, or some rubbish like that. Do you know what I mean? Then you, oh yeah, we know what we have here. But they know they can't do that now. You're not going to deal with any of that nonsense. You know, those days are gone. But if they can come in and spend 2 hours, you know what I mean, or an hour or whatever, trying to get one over on you. You know, I don't know why people think that's. I don't know why. I honestly, and I'm not saying this just saying it. I honestly don't know why people think that's an intelligent thing to do.
It's just offensive.
It's not an intelligent.
One of the, you know, when you're talking about being in a biker gang, it's strength in numbers, right? Well, with the globe belief, it's strength in we all know. In other words, I couldn't possibly be wrong, because if I'm wrong, everyone's wrong, and that makes it all even. But if you're saying something different and you turn out to be right, then there is no strength in numbers. That offends people greatly. So just having 1 or 2 detractors that don't agree with the consensus is an affront to them. Enough of an affront to start a channel and call it Fight the Flat Earth, for example.
It's retards in numbers. And they're quickly getting eclipsed by pretender clown flat earthers, by the way.
Yeah, that's a problem too, isn't it?
Yeah. It'll be the end of this iteration.
Is that flat earthers who want to give them terrestrial refraction and then have hour-long conversations with them about it on this?
Yeah, they're enablers. Yeah, they want to. They want to have the discussion.
Yeah, you're stopping the discussion, Kiwi.
Yeah. Damn Skippy.
About what are you actually stopping this discussion? You know what I mean?
Well, that's the point. The game is
to discuss.
Well, that's the point. The game is make it seem like there's a discussion. Now, if you say, "Well, this is the end. I've won," then there's no discussion, and that's a problem. If you need there to be a seeming discussion.
Yeah, we talked about this some years ago, right? That people just like to hear themselves talk, and they want to have discuss. You know, they got their open-toed sandals and really bad breath, and they want to have their feelings heard, right? That's been prevalent for some years now. I noticed it back in the day, but it's come to a head now. I mean, you're either gonna fish or cut bait. When you're around us, that's what it's going to be. But this iteration is going to be overwhelmed by just hordes of pretender clown flat earthers. So get ready.
Yeah. It's like the Feast of Nonsense has done too well. And like you're probably calling it the hordes of numpty flat earthers. But that's what the Feast of Nonsense has produced, right?
Yep.
What have you got against my open-toed sandals?
I got a lot against it, Jaron.
Sorry, Terry.
Yeah, I actually. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, actually, what? That's it. You're going to get overwhelmed. You will be drowned out by the masses, by enablers, by pretender clown enablers. This is what's going to happen. So, well, you're noble. Brian's logic out to defend the ignorant. You're not going to get heard, dude.
But it's not the enablers I'm trying to defend. It's those who don't know.
Yeah, the ignorant.
Like I didn't.
Yeah, I just said it. Brian's logic, the defender of the ignorant. Oh, you're going to get drowned out.
Maybe so, but at least I'll know I tried.
Yeah, at least you know you tried. Exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's what you got.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep. We all see it around us, don't we? Book may change it for a little while. It might have, you know what? I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller. It'll expose all the enablers and the pretender clown flat earthers. See, the ballers, they've been dispatched since 2016. Hello, McFly. Yeah, that shit was over in 2016. I mean, these quote unquote debates and arguments, Discord channels, it's been all to laugh on, step on your graves and laugh at you for the ballers. Yeah, it's been over since then. Fucking clowns. But it's the hordes of pretending clown flat earthers. Here they come, walking down the street. Get the funniest looks from everyone they meet. The pretending clown flat earthers. Yep, they're right.
That song will also work with the original version for the ballers. Hey, we're the monkeys. They're the monkeys.
Is it monkeys? Oh, they're apes, aren't they?
Well, it's the show, The Monkeys. That's where that's from. The old 60s show, whatever. The Monkeys. You remember that?
Yeah. We're still monkeying around.
We're too busy singing to put anybody down.
Hey, we're the monkeys.
Naive. That's all I hear when I hear that. Naive over and over again.
I bet you got some in your midst right now. There's pretending clown flat earthers everywhere.
Oh, we do.
Where's Adam at?
Over here.
I got
Adam supposedly said, like,
when did you send that message to me? You guys, that was a good one. I was laughing when I seen it. When did you send that? I couldn't see the time on Teams.
Late last night, after 2 hours of working with my mistress to understand the specific role of the site reduction tables.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You pair of fucking flat pretender clown retards.
What'd you come up with?
Well, I came up with understanding what it is.
Okay, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Okay. So it's a way of reducing the complex
the sites. It's the way of reducing the sites.
Well, yes, in a way. And what does that mean? What does that mean? What's it reducing? But what it's not reducing is you taking the measurements and having to account for dip. What it reduces is the complex trigonometric calculations that you would have to perform using basic celestial navigation. However, once you've attained your position, you can then, given the local hour, draw known lines of positions to the things, which will be slight corrections. So HO minus HC will give you the adjustment needed based on the known line of position at the time.
Stop. Before you go on, you claimed something, and it was in the definition I read to you yesterday, about reducing the amount of complex trigonometric calculations. What trigonometric calculations are being done?
So drawing your great circles, or putting your lines of position on.
I'm not hearing any trigonometric calculations just yet.
That would be, so to do your circle of equal altitude, that edge of that circumference, it becomes your line of position. So that's what is complicated if you're going to do it just from scratch. So what the purpose of the site reduction is to go, let's take these known lines of positions from known latitudes, which is what you've inputted from your first, from your sextant readings, and the known time, and we will draw that line on at the known time. And that will be your HO minus your HC, the difference between the two. And once you've then got 3 of them of known times, you can then put those 3 together to give you your fix. So it saves. So instead of instead of having to go and draw and calculate where each of the 3 lines of positions to each celestial object is, you take preordained ones at certain times. Once you've calculated roughly where you are, to then take the nearest preordained ones. That's my understanding of it. Now,
yeah, kind of like what I said yesterday. Inputting
with regards to dip, it's imperative you do dip in your reading. Now, when you go to your HC, your calculated value, there is no need to apply a dip to that because it's already in there, because the way in which it describes it is what Brian was saying. It's a theoretical ideal thing, which has already got a horizontal parallel plane, which is commensurate to the surface in the thing. So you're comparing it to a set of ideals, whether they were pre-dipped or just used by a bubble sextant. They already obtained on and are correct. So they're fine to work straight from, but you still, when you're taking your reading at sea to make your reading as accurate as possible, have to include dip to use that as your HO before you take away your HC.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. More or less exactly what I said.
It's not exactly how you were heard. It's not exactly how you were heard then, hence my question, hence why I spent time. But if that summarizes your position, then we're in agreement now.
Well, I know that the dip correction is not a correct correction. It's an incorrection. It's not precise, as it can't be, based on how it's being used.
Include it. So this was one of the specific things I said. If you don't
include it, yes.
In your HO value, then your site reduction figures will be even further out, yielding a much less accurate result.
No, absolutely, you have to. You have to do your dip correction. But the site reduction, that's your HO. Your site reduction gives you your HC. Height corrected, yes. HO is height observed.
It gives you it gives you an ideal theoretical calculated position. Now, it's not going to be in of itself more necessarily accurate, but when you get all 3 together with these known lines of position of these celestials, then it makes it more accurate by putting the 3 known lines together. So if you've got them and they're a little bit out, it reduces the inaccuracy of your measurement by ascribing it to a known line of position. So as long as those adjustments come in, then it seems to, because it's using an ideal, it's not necessarily more accurate in of itself. It's just a shitload quicker is the main purpose. It's to speed up this process and to stop the complex
speeding up. Yeah, so the trigonometric calculations that no one's ever done because there is no fucking trig.
So this is what the site reduction tables does. It provides those lines of position for you based on these ideals. So you're just trying to get as near to one of them as possible, if that makes sense. So that's all you're doing. And because that line of position is there already defined for you to put on your chart, this ideal one, you take that and you can go then. You take the next celestial and draw its ideal line of position at that time of day, yeah, and at that latitude. So that's crucial that you derive that first. Now, there also appears to be a lot of inaccuracy extremities within the site reduction tables, and it warns against these. So high approaching the zenith is where you'll get a bigger value between HO and HC, and the same at the thing. So I don't know, it doesn't seem to be any more accurate. It just seems to be a shed load quicker because it already has pre-prepared lines of position for you, which is what you're adopting when you
does it have celestial refraction in? Does it have celestial refraction in there?
No, that you need to take you need to take all of those things into account.
Really?
O stage obtained, you still include those to make your HO as accurate as possible before you compare it to the HC.
Oh, okay.
And Adam, as you just said, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I'm getting involved in this discussion, Brian. Yeah. Can you ferret out those celestial refraction calculations for us?
That would be another table, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I want to see that table. And since you're championing it, what is celestial refraction?
I wasn't championing it. It's another thing that it says.
You're the Western House graveyard here. Adam, a minute ago you said that there's a difference or an inaccuracy the closer you get to the zenith.
It was claiming that because I was saying, I asked it whether or not are there any. I was being intrigued. Are there any areas on Earth where HO and HC are generally have a larger discrepancy? There's and it didn't say there was any specific geographic areas, but it warned that taking specific readings. So, if, for example, you're taking midday positions of the sun, and it's very close to your zenith, so you're close to the equator, it warns that just because of the position, a very small inaccuracy there can yield greater HOHC variances. So it warns to try and stay away from stuff very close to your zenith. Apparently that makes your HO more inaccurate in its descriptions.
That's interesting, isn't it? That sort of goes against the refraction.
It said the converse is the same for use of Polaris in the northern latitudes. Just because of the position, you can be a little bit more out more easily. You get a much higher inaccuracy trying to measure Polaris if you're getting a 70, 80 degree measurement to it. So just little points it said. I've not been able to dig deeper on that, but I was just trying to find out whether there was any kind of trend as to the discrepancies, if there was any geographic trend to it. But it seems to claim it's fundamentally just measuring inaccuracies.
Yeah, but the claim then is that it's more accurate when we're, let's say, at 30 degrees or 25 degrees than it is at 80 degrees, right?
It was saying more accurate in the middle. Yeah, so at any of the extremities of the sextant, it was saying you're more likely to get there. It didn't. That was all it was saying. That was all it kind of said. Look, intercepting it for long.
I'd like to hear about when you're closer to the horizon, when your angle is closer to the horizon.
Your mic terrible, boy. Speak up a bit.
Yeah, I would like to see what it says for when your angle is closer to the horizon, like below 30 degrees.
Yeah, so again, lower ones, it warned there as well. Because you're going to then generate, because you're more likely, as you would in celestial navigation, don't try and take stuff below 20 degrees. It's warning the same thing. Because your HO is likely to be more inaccurate, you're going to get a bigger HOHC difference, making your corrected fix not as accurate as if you're taking ones from a more accurate part of the sky where your HO reading is more likely to be more accurate.
Yeah, now this all makes sense to me. This makes sense to me. Because if you're trying to take an angle to something that's close to your zenith, you're more likely to mess that up when you're taking that angle. So you are more likely to be, because of the tilt of your head, right, and the way your orientation when you're trying to do this, because of that, you are more likely to be way out or have bigger inaccuracies than your HO and your HC. When you're below 30 degrees, you're going to have big inaccuracies again because of your HOs and HC, with your HO and your HC, because that is where the claimed most celestial refraction is. So you're going to be way out because you're adding in a load of it's below 30 degrees. So you're adding in a load of celestial refraction, right, below 30 degrees, and your HO is way out from the HC.
What is celestial refraction? Since that's the cause of it, let's dig deeper.
Yes.
I think it's anything that confirmed to us.
Hold on, John.
Just 1 second, John. Just 1 second. I have said this in the past, right? I reckon The dip correction and celestial refraction work hand in hand to screw you up. And that's why at the end, the horizontal is corrected with the HC, and that celestial refraction is not added in. As Tim said, that's why you're going to have such inaccuracies below 30 degrees. I always reckoned one was making apologetics for the other, the dip and the celestial refraction. And I think I'm more and more sure of being right about that now. Go on, thank you.
I always thought it was 15 degrees. Maybe it is 30.
We're talking about the refraction, the non-refraction, right? Not so much about it's below 30 degrees when it starts becoming a bit of an issue.
It seems
right, because I was reading, it says the sweet spot's between like 15 to like 68 degrees, like where you want, like anything above 68, anything below 15 is going to get all wonky and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Why is it getting wonky?
Yeah.
What's getting wonky?
I don't know. It's just like, I mean, I use that word. It didn't say that, but it just says that there's more errors when you get below a certain angle or above a certain angle.
Why?
I can tell you right quick.
Good.
It's any measurement that does not conform to the celestial dome, the way that they idealize it, they call celestial refraction.
Well, this is the thing. That is.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I would say it's the opposite, John. I would say that it's any measurement that doesn't adhere to the celestial dome, they call refraction. I would say that.
Celestial dome? Where the hell's that at?
That's the point. They're trying to force you into adhering to the celestial dome with their celestial refraction nonsense.
What?
This is the point.
What's celestial dome? What's that?
Exactly. The celestial dome is only an orthographic way of displaying perspective, right? But the problem is the stars, when they get closer to the horizon, they don't go to the horizon. They don't meet the horizon. They start going away. They don't come to the horizon and then suddenly look like they're going below it. That doesn't happen. So they have to account for this. It gives you the impression the stars are going down below its globe's geometric edge, maybe. I mean, it's bullshit.
Four things to obtain HO. So when you're first using site reductions to get that raw angle, as it called it, altitude is corrected for several factors, including dip, atmospheric refraction, index error, which is something you do at port. You check your instrument and calibrate, and other corrections, e.g. for the sun's semi-diameter or parallax, if applicable. So they're the four things that you take into account, even if you're using site reduction, when you measure the angle before you then take that to the site reduction tables, where none of those things will be accounted for because it's a theoretical ideal thing where it's already dealt with. We're dealing with it in its purest, unadulterated.
Are we really? Did they really deal with it, or it is just added narrative gloss?
Oh, all I'm saying is that's what it's. This is my understanding now of their claim. Yeah. So when it goes to that HC, the calculated, that is just the theoretical. It doesn't. The reason it doesn't account for those things is because you're not actually taking a measurement in the real world. Your measurement from the real world is why you put those corrections in, to make it as accurate as possible before you then just compare it to the ideals, which have, like I said, all you're doing then is saving yourself a lot of time and computation, because by going to the site reduction tables, you are given the lines of position just to draw on your charts. From here to here, you can draw a straight line instead of having to calculate where that line of position would be from your raw data. That seems to be the purpose of it.
It seems to be what they're saying, right?
That's what I said. It makes sense that they're saying that. It makes sense to me they're saying that. Because they're keeping you between 20 degrees and 70 degrees as much as possible. If they can make it 30 degrees and 60 degrees with all your angles, right? Because the truth is that celestial non-refraction is only trying to account for what the star is not doing in reality. Right? The star is not adhering to what they need it to adhere to in reality. That's the problem. It's not adhering to the plain celestial dome because it's not continuing to do what it was doing in the way it was doing. Because we don't live on a globe. That's why.
And we certainly don't live in a globe either. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. You have us in a globe, even trying to create a geometric edge out of that. That's more correct because the geometric edge would be the edge of a disk, not the edge of the sphere.
Yeah, we don't live on a disk and we don't live in a globe. These people are crazy.
So, like, because they say the stars like move 15 degrees per hour. So once they get to 15 degrees in the sky, it pretty much just stops doing that, right?
Well, they don't go into the horizon. That's the problem.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And again, just for a point of clarity, because I'm kind of stupid. So when you guys say HO, that means height observed, and then HC means height calculated.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, the HO and the HC that only comes into play when you're using a mariner section. Like, so if you're using an aviation section, since there is no dip, then you don't have to. So there is no height calculator. You're just taking the HO then.
No.
All right, could be. I don't know.
No, you're still going to take a HO, aren't
Well,
you?
right, yeah,
In
height
this
observed,
case,
yeah.
because you're using a bubble sextant, yeah, and if you're in aviation, then your device is already exactly level. It's already got a horizontal plane that you're going to take the measurement from that is parallel to the surface. Yeah, because you've got a bubble sextant
right.
as opposed to using a visual cue to get it level, which is the horizon. What's what dip's for. But we're still going to take a HO, the observed value. Yeah, then we will then take that and compare it to the HC still.
Do they do that? Sorry, John. Go on, go ahead. I'll go after you.
Well, the middle of your sentence interrupted the beginning of mine. Start. You go ahead.
Okay, I just want to ask Adam a quick question. Thank you. Do they use site reduction tables with aviation?
As far as I'm aware, yes, because it's the fastest way to do it. The technique is no different, okay, but you're having you've got predefined circles. Does that make sense? Or lines of position, or circles of equal altitude. But when you go to the chart, that circumference becomes a straight line on the chart because of the scale. Yeah, so you just draw it as a straight line, and that's what the site reduction's just speeding that process up. So yeah, even in aviation, it's the same technique they're using, the same shortcut.
Yeah, I would like to know how different the HO and HCs are in relation to marine sextant.
No,
I'd say there's a lot less of a difference. Sorry, Don, you wanted to say something. Sorry,
HC is the same. It's the same charts, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm just saying how much your measurement from a plane differs from the calculated ideal as opposed to your measurement from a boat, and how much that differs from the calculated ideal.
How about from a rubber ducky life preserver? Do they have those calculations in there? I want to see the trig.
What's the HO?
HO is ho. Guess no one's going to pipe up.
I'm just trying to think of what Brian was saying. From what I can understand, it's all down to the quality of the HO, the observed thing. So per se, I don't think it matters whether you're in a plane or on a boat. It's how good your measurement is.
What measurement?
Your HO, your elevation angle, your flat Earth elevation angle measurement.
That's what I thought. So that's our hoe.
Yeah. And that's the point of what the HC is all about. It's a flat Earth. They're all flat Earth measurements. Yeah, they're all giving you lines of position.
Something I think worth focusing on for us is the 15 degrees above the horizon for an airplane.
Airplane?
Have a little think about that for an aviation section. 15 degrees above the horizon.
Isn't that begging the question times 3? Yeah? For the Baltards, not for you, for the Baltards. How you fly on a globe?
Yeah. Oh, of course, it's a triple. But have a think about that. 15 degrees, like, are you accounting for the same claimed refraction from an airplane, same amount, as it claimed from the surface, from the water?
No.
If you're supposedly accounting for the same thing, my point is that their claim is from the water. It's happening because of you being on a globe and a geometric edge getting in the way.
Say globe again. Globe.
Globe.
Hey, Captain Edgewise, you want to stumble into the discussion? I've been seeing some of your. I was in Discord the other day, and I was bored, so I was going through some of the discussions and text, and you seem like a really down to earth Baltard. You can step into this discussion if you want. Let me ask you a question, Captain Edgewise. How do you have a horizon on a globetard? Can you answer that? Please explain. Let's keep it simple. We won't get into your trig, which you clearly are clearly clueless of. Don't even know what trig is. Come off mute. Looking right at you, dead at you right now, Edgewise. Come off mute, you friggin' coward, and gird your loins. That's what I thought. Don't be texting in here, you chat skank. Unless you're man enough, unless your balls have dropped, no pun intended. Come out here, come off mute, and stand like a man. Idiot glue sniffer.
That's right.
Yeah.
There needs to be a grill behind you.
Come on, floor's yours. Prove your Baltard. Did he just boot? He just boot scooted right out of Discord. He's gone.
They're all the same. They always have this special globe knowledge, right, from text chat.
Yeah, from text chat.
Yeah, from main text chat in Discord.
Yeah. He's not as dumb as he looks.
Was he trying to get pain relief out of our text chat?
Oh, yeah. Trying to be real calm. Don't change the subject. Don't do that. It seems a little squirrely. Let's stick on this topic. Wow.
Just on that 15 degrees thing, they try and add in this claim, this non-refraction, right? This faulty bullshit. From the boat, when you're standing on your boat, well, your sailboat, You're supposed to take this into account. And the reason you're supposed to take this into account is because you're looking through, right, a greater density of air, right? Right? But if you're 6 miles up in the sky, you're not dealing with those same, you're not dealing with any of that same, when they want to talk about refraction, obviously, they want to talk about pressure and temperature, which is not no connection at all to Snell's law. But they're trying to add that in when you're in a plane 6 miles up in the sky at bloody minus 20 or something. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So how can the pilot, right, in a plane, why would they be adding, like, if they're saying the exact same thing as the person on the surface of water is, right, with the star, and they're supposed to make the same correction? How would they be making the same correction? As for them, they're not looking through this plane density of air with all this heat. They're from 6 miles up. Their horizon for them is, you know what I mean? It's a 6 mile away horizon. They're not seeing that. Yet the corrections are supposed to be the same, as far as I know. It's a joke. The whole thing is such a joke. The point being is that their whole below 15 degrees bullshit is only because the star is not doing what they needed to do on a globe. And they come up with a heap of crap about temperature and pressure and a heap of rubbish, and they try to call it celestial refraction, right? Right, because that person is in the warmest place, which is on the surface of Earth, with the most amount of air, which is the surface of Earth. But someone 6 miles up in the sky is not in that position. Yet they're supposed to, as far as I know, I'll have to verify this with Tent, but as far as I know, they're supposed to adhere to the same bullshit. How are you adhering to the same bullshit when all the temperatures and pressures are completely different? It just shows how much of a fraud it is.
Do it all with Steel Battery. Don't miss Steel deals. Now is the best time to save big on over 40 hardworking Steel tools. Hurry into your local Steel dealer or shop online.
Sounds like a steal.
Very solid brand for weed eaters and chainsaws.
Sorry, I don't know how I got unmiked. I'm doing some work here.
That's all right. It was an air filler.
Round out. With that, another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.